Okay. SP1. What about standing rule? Standing rule 56.2. Okay. Subsection 2. Okay. We would like to start with our meeting, but hello, Matsiriso wa bua. Matsiriso wa bua. Ha Matsiriso wa bua kopa o mamelwa. Re ka se bue kaofela akere. Akere re ka se bue kaofela. Tshwantse be le motho e one o buang o mong a latele o mong a latele. Holo ya rona is not really helpful as well because it echoes back. So, but as we start our meeting, we want to apologize for arriving late. Nele re emetse, ne tshwantse be rona re emelang lona because you are our guests. So ne re kopa le re inele matsogo ko metsing. Before we start, we need to declare the precinct as the precinct of the legislature, as per melao ya legislature. The standing rules tsa rona, number 56, subsection 2, we declare this space as the precinct of the legislature. Meaning that when we are here, we are at the legislature. Melao le tsamaiso ya legislature ke yona e re tsamaisang meeting wa rona ka yona. So nna ke le Matsiriso Mfikwe, ke le chairperson ya Economic Development Portfolio Committee, hereby declare the Bronkhorstspruit Community Hall as per the rule in the terms of legislature rules 56, subsection 1, subsection 2 of the standing rules of the legislature, version 5, revision 6, together with section 2.1, section 28 of the powers and privileges and immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislature Act of 2004. For the duration of this meeting, this place will then be the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Thus, the standing rules of the legislature will apply and govern all our engagements for today. Thank you very much. So, re go legislature kere. So, re tshware pila. Ha re bolela re emisa letsogo, a re kgweletse, a re shoutisi, a re lwana. Go lwaniwa ha re le ko legislature. Mara we engage. All of us, every one of us has a right to engage. Come on, you are most welcome. The meeting is officially opened. I have asked for forgiveness for arriving late and traffic. So, re tswela pele ka meeting wa rona. Le filwe dintho tsa o kenya mo ditsebeng gore re utlwane ha re bolela. Le ba file Thabo. Thabo na ka nna mantlola batho ba ba tshakileng o na ke nna fela. Ba eng re tla ba bona. Did you give the community the thing tsa ntho tse? Ba tlo le fa dintho tsa kenya mo ditsebeng gore re utlwana re bolela kere in languages that we want. Those things are city present. Ha meeting o fela o isiye mo stulong. O ska tsamaya le yona bana ha eno bereka o tswile le yona mo. E sebetsa mo fela. So ne re kopa le fetsa le di siye. Di na le di languages tse different. The first language ina le di channels. Ba tla le bontsha le di berekise jwang. Channel 1 ki English, channel 4 ki Sepedi or ki Setswana, channel 3 ki isiZulu or isiNdebele, channel 2 is Afrikaans, channel 5 is Tshivenda or Xitsonga. There is sign language there, but le ba shebe mo di screening ba tla le bontsha ntse ba bua for our compatriots who are not able to hear but can only see the sign language, which is our official language as well. With those words, all of you are welcome. My name is Matsiriso Mfikwe. I am the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee. I am accompanied by members of the Portfolio Committee. Do you want me to introduce you now, or you'll introduce when you speak? Now, on my right is Member Litsie. She's a member of the Portfolio Committee. Member Malobani, Nkosi Malobani. She's a member of the Portfolio Committee. Member Mkungeli, member of our Portfolio Committee, and Member Litwalo, member of our Portfolio Committee, Member Duplessis, member of our Portfolio Committee, and Member Member Badenhorst, member of Portfolio Committee. We are joined by officials from the Gauteng Department of Economic Development and DMR. We will introduce them as they come to do the presentations. We are here to talk about making laws. We are contributing to the law or the bill that is going to talk about petroleum, regulate petroleum, and another one will regulate the small businesses. So the teams will come indicate, I don't have a list, Thabo, of the people that are here, except that DMR will be represented by Mema Mukhali. That's the only name that I have. The other ones I don't have. I will really write. I'm not giving the names. So as we continue, we will be able to introduce everybody. Let us put the agenda on the screen, Thabo. Thank you very much. Le amukhelekile, le ko hae, ari tukise. Abu Jabisa Ltsoko Mrao, Kim Tata Papa, King Eu. Ah? Oh, ne re kopa batho ba batang ntho tse tsa o kenya ka mo re kgone ho utlwana re mse matso. Ba tla lefa tsona ba buti kwa ko morao. Rale le ska theola until ba o fa letsoho kere. As we putting our agenda on the table. The opening is done, the welcome and purpose is done. Okay. Okay, as we are waiting to get the do we have people that need services of an interpreter? Moreover, because we have sign language practitioners. Do we have people that need interpretation? Matsoho ke a dintho tsa ditsebe fela, tsa gore re utlwe, tsa di earphone. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. As we open our meeting, can we please stand up and open with silent prayer and meditation? Moye mingteng, re rapella hore meeting wa rona o tsamaye hantle, ka hlompho, ka boikokobetso, and everything that we asking the Almighty to do for us. A re rase, silent prayer and meditation. Just 2 seconds. Amen. Thank you very much. Can we beam the agenda? That is our agenda, members. Can we move for adoption? Member Litsie?
Member Litsie, I move for the adoption of the agenda.
Seconder? Member Mkunyeli seconds. So our agenda is adopted. We then move. We'll start with our presentation. Can we move quickly so that everybody gets the earphones? Then we are able to start with our presentations. But the presenter from there. Okay. I'm using this. Oh, the people from members. Okay.
Hi, Utlan. Ah.
We're good. Oh, I meant to come. Okay, thank you very much. Tawa, can we get a list of everybody, the officials who are here, so that we acknowledge them as Mam Khalid does the presentation. We'll acknowledge after. Thank you very much. Ball pen, pampiri. You write your questions. We will ask questions after the presentations. All of them have been done. Thank you very much.
Ba di mic ko morao, a ko le phakise man, batho khale ba emisitse matsoho. Batho ba emisitse matsoho, ko ba le ba feng di mic ka speed ne. Ka re matsoho a batho a labe, ba feng di mic ka dilo tse ka speed. Le sa tlhalosa re tla tlhalosa generally, ba feng ka speed. Le prioritize batho ba bagolo akere.
Can we move on my right, on my left, please? My headphones. Fitisang fela re tla explain the channels once everybody has some belief. Hai abuti fana ka di headphones ka shake ka tlhogo. Fitisa. Okay. Thank you very much.
How are you, Member Atkinson? I'm very good, thanks. I'm seeing you for the first time.
You're so excited today.
Eh?
You're so excited
I
today.
can see. Valentine. Huh?
But he didn't tell us that.
It matures with age.
At least one drink.
Okay, let's look at the channels. English is channel 1. Sepedi Setswana, channel 4. isiZulu isiNdebele, channel 3. Afrikaans, channel 2. Tshivenda Xitsonga, channel 5. Risha Paker, we can do the presentation. There's one hand here. Mics. Kamo papa. So we're good to go. Lily turn to the channel again, so we can move. Thank you very much. Can we have our first presentation from DMR? We're talking about development on the upstream petroleum resources. Ma'am Amkhali will do the presentation for us. You can hit it, ma. You can introduce yourself better than me. Thank you.
Good morning. Am I audible?
You are. Yeah,
Can I get a roving mic? Let me use this. It's fine. Good morning. Okay. Am I audible? Okay. Let me start first by greeting our honorable members, the community that have gathered here, all the councillors who are present, and all protocol observed. My name is Stella Mamachale. I'm from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. I will be the one who will be taking you through this presentation on the Upstream Petroleum Resource Development Act, bill. Am I not audible? Hello, am I audible? Okay. I will start my presentation. It's on the Upstream Resource Development Bill. I think there's a mistake there to say the act is a bill actually. It's not yet an act. So in terms of my presentation outline, I will talk to the background, the overview of related legislation, the process that have been followed, the object of this bill that is in front of us today, the provision of the bill, and the way forward. So in terms of the background, currently the development of the petroleum resources is regulated under Chapter 6 of what we call the Mineral and Petroleum Resource Development Act, which is a legislation that is currently regulating the mining and the petroleum resources in the country. And the MPRDA, as it stands now, it does not sufficiently address issues that are required for the development and the growth of the upstream petroleum industry. So this bill, which is in front of you today, is meant to strengthen the petroleum provisions and present a value proposition for South Africa. So this bill is going to regulate the exploration and production of oil and gas in South Africa. So in terms of the overview of related legislation that will outline the trajectory of the oil and gas in the country, pre-1911, we had what we call the Mine and the Work Act, which was focusing on mining, and that act, it did not have any provision relating to the oil and gas. Then in 1991, the Mineral Act was promulgated, and the oil and gas resources under that act were defined as minerals. So there was no dedicated provision for the oil and gas. Then in 2002, the department developed what we call the Mineral and Petroleum Resource Development Act of 2002, and provisions relating to the oil and gas, they were appendage to that act. Then, as the department has taken a decision that the oil and gas needs to be separated from the MPRDA, which is a current act that is currently regulating the oil and gas sector, then we decided to develop this bill that is in front of you, which is called the Upstream Petroleum Resource Development Bill. Then, following that, so in terms of the process that we have followed as the department, we have started with the research and the benchmarking, and the benchmarking were done in Angola, in Nigeria. We have also taken a study tour to Norway. So those countries are the countries that are far advanced in terms of the oil and gas exploration and production. So once we were done with the research and the benchmarking, then as a department, we started with the drafting of the bill, and we also consulted the relevant stakeholders regarding the bill. Then in November 2019, after the department has developed the bill, then cabinet approved the bill for publication. So meaning that the department allowed the interested and affected parties to submit their written comments to the department to address issues that they might have or issues that affect them in relation to this bill. Then in the same year after cabinet, which is 2019, the bill was gazetted, as I have indicated, and we called upon interested and affected parties to submit their written inputs. And in June 2021, after consultation, after certification of the bill by the state law advisor, and after consultation also with the cluster, the bill was then submitted to Parliament in June 2021. And as you are aware that Parliament also, they also follow their own process in terms of consultation. The bill was gazetted. Parliament has also consulted in all the 9 provinces, and in order for them to get the written submission. And on the 26th of October 2023, there was a deliberation on the bill in the National Assembly, and the National Assembly adopted the bill in October 2023. So going to the object of the bill, so what the bill says, we are trying to recognize the internationally accepted right of the state to exercise sovereignty over all the petroleum resources within the Republic. So what we are saying here, we are saying the state is the custodian of our national petroleum resources. Why are we saying so? So as the state can be able to promote equitable access to the national petroleum resources to all the people of South Africa. And further to that, we are also saying that with this bill, we aim to substantially and meaningfully expand opportunities for Black persons to enter into and actively participate in the upstream petroleum sector and to benefit from the exploration of our national petroleum resources. Then I will also go into the clause by clause of this bill in terms of what are the provisions saying. So we have not included all the clauses of the bill. We looked at the important clauses that we think are necessary for us to share with the community. So in terms of clause 3 of the bill, and I believe that everyone has a bill, they have a copy of the bill, they can also look at that when I present each provision. Clause 3 of the bill, it makes provision for the custodianship of the petroleum resources and provide that the resources are the common heritage of all the people of South Africa. Then moving to clause 8, it provides that all the acreage. So acreage, it means that all the blocks for exploration, development, and production of petroleum resources in South Africa are going to be administered by Petroleum Agency. Petroleum Agency is PASA, which is our regulator. Their office is in Cape Town. They are responsible for administering the applications for mining and also for petroleum. Then clause 10 of the bill, it makes provision for the function of PASA, which is our regulator. Moving to clause 13, it provides that the minister may, on recommendation by PASA, initiate a competitive administrative or opening licensing round by publishing an invitation in the notice. So what we are saying here, we are saying that there will be a time where the minister will issue a notice inviting people to apply for exploration and production of petroleum resources. So it will be an open licensing round where everyone will be called upon to make an application. And this is in line with the international standard in other countries which are far advanced with the development of petroleum resources. So they are no longer using a first come, first serve process. So what happened is they will advertise a notice, they will call everyone to come and make an application for exploration and production of oil. And we do have clause 14, which make provision for the duration of what we call a reconnaissance permit and a petroleum right. So a reconnaissance permit is a permit where you are still searching for your oil and gas. So you do get a permit in order for you to search for the oil and gas, because we want to ensure that there is an orderly development of the oil and gas sector. We are not going to allow anyone to just search for oil and petroleum without having a permit. Then still on clause 14, which talk to petroleum right. So petroleum right is a composition of an exploration and production right. So both of them, we call them a petroleum right. So in terms of petroleum right, we grant a right in relations to onshore. Onshore, it is on land. When you are searching your oil and gas inland, on the land. And offshore is when you are searching your oil and gas in the sea. So this provision talks to onshore and offshore in shallow waters, where the water is not deep. So what we are saying here, we are saying for exploration phase, when you are digging your oil, you are granted a license for a period of 9 years. And that license, it is made up of initial term of 3 years, second, third, and fourth term of 2 years. And in respect of the production phase, this is where now you are producing your oil and gas, you are granted an unlimited period which is made up of an initial term of 30 years. And once that 30-year period has expired, then you also have a further term of 10 years. Then still on clause 4, clause 14, we also grant a petroleum right in respect of what we call the acreage designated as frontier. So I'm sure as the community you once heard on the news where they are talking about what we call shale gas in the Karoo. So the acreage designated as frontier is in relation to shale gas, where you are doing your exploration on land, onshore, but deep onshore. So, and also, this provision is also talked to offshore acreage. This is where you are doing your production and exploration in the sea, which is offshore acreage, but in deep waters. So what we are saying here, we are saying your exploration phase is for a period of 14 years, and it is also made up of an initial term of 5 years, and the second, the third, and the fourth term of 3 years. And in respect of your production phase, you are also here granted an initial term of 30 years and a further term of 10 years each. Then moving to clause 15, it makes provision for competitive administrative licensing round for petroleum. So this is the same. The minister will make a notice in the Gazette, will invite applications for petroleum right in respect of blocks, and the notice, it will also prescribe the period within which such application may be lodged with PASA, our regulator. Then moving to clause 16, this provision also, it empower the minister to also issue a notice in the Gazette inviting applications for a reconnaissance permit in relations to multiple blocks or areas encumbered by exploration and production and petroleum right. I've indicated that a reconnaissance permit is when you are still doing your search for your oil and gas. Then moving to clause 19, here it makes a provision for consultation. So as a licensee, when you apply, our agency, which is PASA, it has to make sure that those who are affected by your applications are consulted thoroughly. So when PASA receive an application, they will have to ensure that within 14 days from the date of accepting that application, they must call upon interested and affected person to submit their comments and objection regarding the application that has been lodged within 30 days. So our process is very transparent. There is no way that someone will apply for exploration and production in a certain area without those who are in that area being not notified that there is an application that have been lodged. Then moving to clause 20, it make also provision for yourself as an applicant to also consult within 14 days after the acceptance of your application by PASA. Then clause 21, so what happened here is that in the bill, we are also introducing what we call a Petroleum Development and Environmental Committee. So this committee, it will be composed of experts in different fields. There will be experts from environment, there will be experts from the energy, there will be experts from the mining, who will be advising the minister on any objections that have been received following consultation. As I've indicated that we follow a transparent process, we do consult. So if there are any objection, including from the community, so this committee, it will advise the minister to say these are the objections that we have received and this is how we can handle them. Then we do have clause 30, which provide for the partitioning of right, and it further states that petroleum right may not be partitioned. So partitioning is the dividing of your petroleum right. So you can't divide your petroleum right without a written consent from the minister. Then moving to clause 10, this is a very critical clause which provides for participation of black person in petroleum right. So what we have done is that we have ensured that every petroleum right, if a multinational company comes and to explore and produce gas in South Africa, they have to make sure that a minimum of 10%, there is a minimum of 10% interest of black person in that petroleum right. And the participation of black persons is on commercial terms. And what we have done is we have also defined black person for the purpose of this 10% participation. And what we are saying a black person, it means a company that is 50 plus 1 and which is owned by black persons. And we have also allowed for the dilution of participation of black persons. I've indicated that the participation of black person is a minimum of 10%, meaning you can participate from 10% up to 90%. But if you don't have the capital to participate, you are allowed to dilute your 10% by not less than 5%. So we allow dilution to ensure that you, as a black person, you can be able to raise capital so as you can meaningfully participate in the petroleum right. And further to that, we are saying that as a holder or an applicant of a petroleum right who is not able to secure the required black person. So here we are talking about the licensees who have been granted a petroleum right and they can't get partners from, they can't get black person who can participate. Then we do give them an extension of 2 years so as they can be able to get black people who can be able to participate. Then moving to clause 32, it also makes provision for the minister also through a notice in the Gazette to reserve blocks for black person. So this is also an important provision that we have included here to ensure that black people also participate meaningfully in the petroleum development of our country. So what we have done here, we are saying, Minister, you also have to allow for black people to participate meaningfully, whereby you can also invite them specifically through a notice in the Gazette to apply for petroleum right. And yeah, so this is what this clause actually says, clause 32. And moving to 33, it also makes provision for exit of black person from petroleum right. So where a black persons who were participant in a petroleum right, they feel that they no longer want to be part of that deal or that petroleum right, we do have measures that we have provided for on clause 33 to allow them to exit the petroleum right. And the empowerment credentials of that specific petroleum right, they must be recognized for the duration of the petroleum right. So we don't want to punish petroleum right holders because black persons who were part of that petroleum right, they have decided to exit that petroleum right. Then moving to clause 34. So clause 34, it talks to the state. So how is the state going to benefit from the exploration and production of petroleum right? So clause 34 is state that the state petroleum company, we have a state petroleum company which is going to be designated as a state-owned entity which will be responsible for managing state participation in the exploration and production activity through a carried interest. So what we are meaning here, we are saying the state is going to benefit also from the production and exploration of petroleum right. And how it is going to benefit, it is going to be carried. And when we say carried, we mean that the state is going to participate freely, it is going to be carried, and then the right that we have granted to the state in terms of this carried interest is a 20% carried interest. So when we grant a petroleum right, then we are going to ensure that the state is carried in that petroleum right. So as the state, we can be able to meaningfully also benefit from that petroleum right. But once the petroleum right, there is production, then the state will be allowed to pay back that free carried interest in the petroleum right. So we are saying that the carrying holders are entitled to recover the 50 and 100% of the state proportion. So the state will be carried for free. When the production started, they will pay back that free carry, and then they will continue to benefit. So it will be like the state will be carried on a debt. And then once they finish paying their debt, they will meaningfully benefit from the production in the petroleum right for a period of 30 years when that production right is still valid. Then moving to clause 37, it provides that the minister may by notice also invite open application for petroleum rights in respect of blocks or blocks indicated in such notice. Yeah, I think this is a repetition, is the same. Yeah, so this is the same where the minister will open applications for petroleum right. So it is not going to be a first come, first serve license application. The minister will invite application through a notice in the Gazette. Then clause 44 provide for exceptions under which the minister may grant a petroleum right. So this petroleum right is not just going to be just granted. There will be exceptions under which the minister may grant petroleum right. You will apply, but there are exceptions that are also applicable. So your application is not guaranteed as that you will be given that petroleum right. Then clause 46, it provides for application for a petroleum right holder to progress to the second, the third, the fourth term of exploration phase on approval by the agency. So in terms of petroleum right, you will be firstly granted an exploration right. Then once you have an exploration right, then you will move to a production right. So even the exploration right, you will also progress to the second, to the third, and to the fourth term of exploration phase, but this is only on approval by the regulator, which is PASA. Then we do have clause 47, which provide for exception under which approval may be granted to progress to the next term of exploration. Then clause 42, it talks to, it provides that as a petroleum right holder, you may not undertake drilling without a permit. As I've indicated that there are permits that you need to get before you can start with your exploration or production. Then we do have clause 53, which provides that a holder of a petroleum right that is in the exploration phase may not produce petroleum without conducting the drill stem, the test, and without also getting a permission from the petroleum agency. So before you can produce, you need to do the test to ensure that your production is going to be optimally beneficial. Yeah, it will optimally benefit the South Africans. So clause 54, it also provides that when a discovery is made, you need to notify the agency within 5 days. So when you have done your exploration and then you have been granted to progress to production and you found that there is a discovery of oil and gas, you need to notify our regulator, which is PASA. Sorry for that. Then clause 58, it also provides that as a petroleum right holder, you may not also progress to production phase without approval of our agency. Then clause 59 also, it also provides that our agency, they must approve the application to progress to production phase within 120 days from the date of receipt of application. So there is a time frame at which our agency may approve your application if you progress from exploration to production. Clause 61, it provides that the petroleum agency may, after consultation with the minister, postpone any development of the petroleum field. So meaning that our agency, they have the right to postpone the development of petroleum field if it is of national interest to do so. Then clause 62 provides that a holder of a petroleum right may not progress to the second or further terms of a production phase without the approval of our agency, which is PASA. Then moving to clause 63, it provides also for the exceptions under which PASA may grant approval for the holder of a petroleum right to progress to the next term. Then moving to clause 64, it also provides that the minister may, after the expiry of an initial term of production phase and having regard to the state need, the state to derive a fair share of benefit from the production, they may amend the existing terms and conditions. So as I've indicated that our production right, it is granted for a period of 30 years. So after that expiry of 30 years, the minister has a right to amend the existing terms and conditions of that petroleum right. And this is to ensure that as a state, we will derive a fair share of benefit from the production. Then clause 68, it provides that PASA may direct that upstream petroleum facilities which are owned by holders may be used as third parties. So what we are saying here, we are saying if you are a petroleum right holder and then you have built facilities for petroleum, you must allow third party access. And this is to ensure that there is an orderly development of petroleum facilities. We don't want a situation where all petroleum right holders, they build their own facilities. So if you have a facility, then if the other right holder wants to access your facilities, then they will come and talk to you, then you will give them access. So this is what we call third-party access. Then clause 77, it provides that a holder of a petroleum right must notify the agency of any petroleum accumulation which extend beyond their boundaries of its area. I think when I talked about what we call an acreage. It's a block where as a petroleum right holder, you will be allowed to do your exploration and production. So if you found that the block that you have been allocated, some of your accumulation extend into the block of another person, then what we are saying here, we are saying that our agency will allow and will facilitate that there must be a unitized development of that petroleum accumulation that extends beyond the borders of your acreage. Then clause 78, it talks to where the accumulation extend into the land or continental shelf of another country. So, for example, South Africa, we do share a continental shelf with Namibia. So if it happens that when they do the exploration and production, they found that the petroleum extend into another country, let's say Botswana. What we are saying here, we are saying the state must seek to reach an agreement with that country on the most efficient coordination of petroleum activities. So the state must reach an agreement with that country to ensure that there is efficient coordination of petroleum activities. Then 79, this talks to submission of information and data to PASA, which is our agency, and that information, it relates to reconnaissance permit and exploration and production operations. And clause 84, it also provides for the issuing of closure certificates. So here we are ensure that when the production or when a petroleum right holder, they decide that they no longer want to continue with the production, they need to ensure that the area where they were doing the production is rehabilitated and they will be issued with a closure certificate. So here we are trying to ensure that there is compliance with environmental laws in terms of liabilities, and also we are trying to ensure the management and sustainable closure of any petroleum development. And further to that, we are also saying that when you apply for petroleum operation, you need to provide financial guarantee, because we don't want a situation where we issue a license to a particular individual and they cannot utilize those petroleum operations. Then, oh, it's so hot, can I have it? So in terms of clause 88, what we are saying here, so it just provide the exceptions under which a permit or a right may be suspended or cancelled. So the minister has a right to suspend or cancel any permit or right. Then clause 89 provide for restriction or prohibition of exploration and production on certain land or blocks. Then moving to clause 90, it provides for the optimal production of petroleum resources, and it also provides that our agency, which is PASA, they may direct any holder of a petroleum right if they are not complying to the terms and conditions of their license to take corrective measures if the petroleum resources are not being produced optimally or in accordance with their production work program. Then moving to clause 92, it provides for the expropriation of property for the purpose of exploration and production. But this expropriation, it will be done in accordance with section 25(2) and 3 of the Constitution. So the minister will not just expropriate for the purpose of exploration and production. This will be done in line with the Constitution. Then I think lastly, we do have a schedule in our bill, which is clause 93. And I think when I started, I've indicated that currently the exploration and production of oil and gas is regulated under what we call the Mineral and Petroleum Resource Development Act. So what we have done here, we have provided for what we call transitional arrangement. So what do we mean? We mean that, let's say there's a pending application for exploration and production. So we have provided a mechanism on how we will deal with those pending application if the bill becomes an act. And also for existing right, how we will deal with them. And lastly, I think in terms of the way forward, we are saying that passing of this bill into a law is a critical step for the development and the growth of South Africa oil and gas sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ma'am Khaile. Ma'am Khaile, you know, if you could, in a second, ne? In a second, if you could summarize the bill, just 1 second. This bill, evaluates a 1, 2, 3, and speak to me like you're speaking to somebody who is not, who's not aware what you're talking about. Simplify it so that we all understand what you're talking about. Because I understand. So I can sure but simple language. This is what the bill wants to do. Just 1 second.
Okay, Bahul. So with this bill, ke tlo bua ka Setswana, ne? What we are trying to do, Bill A is for, I don't have a term, but it's for exploration. So exploration, we mean the digging. However, ne? Oil and gas. And it's for exploration and production. Production is how producer. Ha ke itse gore is simple la e tlhaloganya na. Angere mine ge re bata gold ra epa re ntsha gold. So this one is different to mining. Re epa re ntsha oil. Oil e re batlang ke oil e leng gore e tlo go dira petrol, e tlo go dira diesel, e tlo go dira petrol e leng gore e berekisiwa go khanna di aeroplane. So ke yona oil e re buang ka yona eo. Ge re bua ka gas, re bua ka gas e leng gore e kreiwa ka motlase. There are go na le gas e leng gore e dula mo matlapeng ka motlase ka mo. So ya ipiwa gas e go ya driliwa ya ntshiwa. Ke gas e leng gore e tlo go re thusa le rona because re na le di challenge ang re la bona re na le load shedding. So once re ka khona go kry gas e go ke gas e leng gore e tlo go processiwa, e transportiwa, e generator also, e thusa le go generator electricity. So re bitsa oil and gas, but the gas e re buang ka yona ga se gas e la ya lona ela e le berekisang ko ntlung. E go e bitsiwa liquefied petroleum gas. Ankere le tlholo le utlwa ba re ke LPG. Ke e leng gore e metsi. So e re buang ka yona ke e leng gore e tshwantse e piwe, intshiwe. Like ko America. America gore e be e le mo e leng mo teng is because of ba dikile what we call shale gas. Shale gas ke yona gas e leng gore ba e kry-a mo letlapeng le le bitsiwang shale. Letlapa leo le ka motlase ka mo la ipiwa le ko Karoo. Ge le tlholo le utlwa mo dikgangeng ba bua ba re go na le shale gas ko the Karoo. Ba bua ka lona letlapa le le tshwantseng le piwe le ntshe gas.
Thank you very much. Re utlwile ke re gore molao o tlo re thusa gore ha re epa gas re thoma ko fatshe le petrol e tsamaye hayang, including the role and responsibilities tsa minister le department ya GMR in that process. Ra utlwana ke re? So ke kopa re amohele ntate Masha Mathopane, who comes from the department, o tla tlo re botsa gore department ya rona mo Gauteng e reng ka bill e. Then from there ke tlo kopa di member if di na le di comments di comment. Then after that re tla ko lona, then we move towards the other presentation. Thank you very much.
Dumelang. Dumelang. Legai. Nakima Tupani Masha from the Gauteng Department of Economic Development. Firstly, I would just like to greet our honorable members and thank you for the opportunity to also contribute to the development of this bill. If it's done correctly, it can really help a lot. Country Aruna in terms of transforming also this industry as well. As you know, at the moment, there is very limited participation, yeah, but right? So, Runa, as a province, we rebadile bill and nalidi commencing mola in terms of the way by modeling and some of our concerns here and there, which we have already submitted, but we just want to reiterate them again today in this session. Maybe before I even get into the presentation, just a few concerns. One is that batho ba bantsho ba bangata ba ka no se be le tšhelete e ngata a o lebelela taba ya tšhelete ya exploration, the cost of exploration e ngata haholo. So what we want to see also in the bill as a department gore go be le solution around gore re tlo thusa jwang batho ba senang le tšhelete mara ba nang le maikemišetšo a go participate more this bill, right? So what are the solutions that we're going to put in place as government? But also, in all our sectors of the economy, fronting, right? So also in terms of this bill, we manage as government the issue of fronting. Because in other laws that we have in our country, where we are encouraging or we want black people to come and participate, mara, are we check over time? Not a lot of fronting, so we also want that at least penalties. And sometimes we stop it completely, mara, what are the penalties the government can put in place? Or fronting, punish about. And then also that section here, black. I think when we finalize the bill into an act, we must also be clear which definition are we using. Is it the BBBE definition of black or what? So that it's clear, so that there's no issue around interpretation of black, what is black and all of that. As we know, it has always been an issue as well in our country. Also, I think we are also happy that there's an issue around, as you know, more problem here, the mine is already the quality. Mara, the problem because but the mine one day they've closed the mines, they are nowhere to be found. And the problem here is Amazama and all of that. So it will also be good for us to see how that part is going to be managed in the future around the end of life, the mine. Maybe just to get into the presentation. So Runa, as Gauteng government, we support the bill. We believe that Bill A can help transform our economy. it can also help create jobs. So in principle, we support it. And of course, as part of government, we will also be working with our counterparts nationally to make sure when it comes to implementation, also positioning our SMMEs for participation, re kgona ho ba thusa as well, re kgona ho ba le di-program that will help our SMMEs. As you know, any country around the world, you always make sure you maximize your natural endowments, right? Whether it's malahla or oil or king or king. I mean, go to Dubai, one morning, go Dubai, they discovered urban oil, and look at Dubai today as an example. So we must always maximize our natural resources, especially with those that give us advantage as well. So, however, so if you look at also just 2 comments also aside is that most of the opportunities that my colleague spoke about, di kwale ko what we call coastal provinces, right? Again, the province leng gaufi le mawatle and all of that. So as Gauteng re lebelela this mlaoka in two ways. What we call upstream and downstream opportunities. And now ka lebelela Gauteng because of where we are and the structure of our economy, the way economy ya rona e leng ka gona. A lot of opportunities that rona di tlo go downstream a lot than upstream because yeah, unless if one morning re ka tsoga ba re go Cullinan re na le oil or na le any then, but as a country rona we will be sort of as a province benefiting a lot go downstream into. So what we are saying, most of these are primarily go offshore. But we obviously, as a province, as an advanced economy, we participate a lot in terms of these opportunities. But also what we are saying is that all these companies that are digging or that are exploring in the coastal provinces, they've got headquarters here. So it's easy for us, as a much more advanced economy, to explore some of the opportunities that they bring as well. Also. So, as I mentioned, for example, our involvement could be in the downstream value chain, like refining, transportation, and many other opportunities that will come as a result of the bill. But we are happy, we do believe that we must really, expedite or make sure this thing fetch you fast because it has advantage as a country. And also, we are able to create opportunities for our young people as government as well. But also we're saying that there will also be employment and economic prospects. But what hiriwa and what opportunities we also hope that in terms of it may also contribute towards managing the cost of these resources, because as you know, most of in some of these areas, we don't necessarily have the capacity, and if not, the cost as well is dictated elsewhere in terms of the final cost to the clients as well. But we are saying that the opportunity exists for local oil and gas production to result in pricing differential that is more favorable to consumers, right? It may not be easy because if you look at the steel industry, we were hoping because we produce steel a lot in other areas, pricing will be something that we will have advantage on. So that is why the bill must help us in closing some of those gaps, right? So that at the point where we find this and we are able to also have advantage as a country in terms of pricing and other things around this as well. But also we're saying natural gas also serves as a conduit within the discourse of around just energy and all of that. Pretty much we're saying, given that we are highly urbanized, that this framework must make sure that the petroleum activities conform to environment. We are happy that part is covered a lot in the bill around the environment and environmental considerations. So, but what we are saying is that even though sometimes you don't put all the things that you want to do. For example, some of the regulatory issues may later be may be covered in in some process, not necessarily in the act. But what we are saying is that we must be clear around the penalties for the environment. We must be clear about potential penalties for fronting in terms of some of these resources. We must also be clear how we are going to assist black people who may have the skills but not the money to participate. Because if you look at the issue around guarantee, financial guarantee, you know, that one, the moment you come to that, it puts us it will put a lot in our communities at a disadvantage. So there must be yes, it's important to have that because you want viability. Mara, there must be a solution that says, should you be viable, this, this is how we can assist in terms of these guarantees. So that the legislation is developmental, is transformational, and we are able to bring the majority in our communities to participate in this economy as well. So that will be just our short input. In principle, we support the bill. I support the bill A. And we really want to see it concluded. Mara, we're just saying there are a few things that as we finalize this bill into legislation, we must just beef up those few areas so that we don't find ourselves in the future as a country where we are saying, Mara, this clause is putting ourselves at a disadvantage. Mara, no opportunity we correct so that we are all can be able to benefit from this legislation. I thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Basically, Maisha, you were saying the department supports the bill. Okay. And that you were saying the department supports the bill, basically. So story say I get the Anyway, thank you very much. The bill is presented to us. Re tlisitse mo lona re le maloko a parlamente ya ko Gauteng. Hore re utlwe hore lona le e bona yang. What are your comments? What are you suggesting? Are you approving the bill? Do we take it to the NCOP and say Gauteng residents are saying viva to the putting together of the bill? So I'm opening up the floor to you. We talk about the bill only. The bill that is presented. Department ya DMR kame mamukale bari buditso what is in the bill. Gauteng e support, but there are these concerns that we have that the department mamukale will respond. I'm not sure if she says her colleagues or Kenali one will respond. Then utlo re tlhalosetsa le di comments tsa lona. Rona re tlisitse bona mo lona hore a re utlweng o setjhaba se reng. So I'm opening up hands on this side. A re qoqe ditori akere. Okay, member le tswala re kopa nthuso na le experience. Nna ke thoma o tla ka tseko mo economic development. So a ke itse le gore ba dira byang. Ra le boganta tel tswala.
Yeah, are shabe matsoho wa kere. And then role no re batla matsoho e seng o phaphatha. A ke re ntshwe ke ya lona, golomente ke ya lona kere. Ya le ka se phaphatele batho ba le ba bona mmo ba tsentse ke lona kere. So le ka se ba phaphatele matsoho le ba file moshomo. So a re tse matsoho mara ke tlo le fa di number ne. A re batlo nna le a wave. So ro starta ka mo and then we move on to the left. Ko le fa di number kere. Ore re kgone o nna le tsamaiso e tolameng. So a re bone matsoho ka mo. Ro starta ka mama yona, okay, papa yona number 1, mama number 2, number 3, mama le sale balang di number ne. 3 mama, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 hands ka mo. Le sure. Are mise matsoho wa kere baholo. Are ba tlo tlwala go morao. E lo bua ka puo nngwe le nngwe. A bua Zulu wa Zulu, a bua Setswana Setswana, a ba tlo tlhalosa ka Swati Swati, Ndebele fela bya wa kere. So le sa tswa. Go na le additional hands. Okay, so it's only 6 hands. A kere. Lo yena ba tlo tsena. 7. Kya kwal? 7 e kamo, akere kira kamo. 7. 7 again. Alright. Kamo, number 1, rostata ka 1. 1, 2, 3, my brother. 4, 5, 6. Wena we misotha wetsa so. O number man? 6. 7, 8, 9, my brother. Lise go class. 10. I get let's wear 10 hands. I get 10 hands. So ara agreeing renale 17 hands. 18. 18 ika dedi go bofello. I get renale 18 hands. Ra ba tlo le fana kwa re le bue mare a ke re na go lona e khutshwanenyana because there's another one, isn't it? Yeah, there's another bill. So are agreeing on a rule ke batla ra agreeing a ke batlo impose a ke re me too ngo kwa lona o re batlo utlwa lona. Are we agreeing or 3 minutes will be enough? Can we agree? Agreed? All right, thank you very much. Ara starting ka number 1.
Ngiyathokoza lochanoke okhuluma ngobaba uMahlangu la nginombuzo nje embili baphathi sizwile yona inkulumo engikubuzako ukuthi kilabo abazokuthola ama license kuzoba babantu beSouth Africa kuphela na noma izokunikela nabantu abavela ngaphandle na mbuzo wokuthoma loyo. Wesibili ngilo kuyabonakala ukuthi umsebenzi mnengi kulabo abazokuthola ama license. Ugovernment uyokwenza njani uqinisekisa ukuthi akuna transfer kulabantu abathi bona bazabe benza bemba ipetroleum leyo. Ngiyathokoza mphathi. One number 2.
Arze number 2. Yeah.
Sanibonani Lotshani. Mina nginembuzo embili. Umbuzo wami wokuqala ukuthi ngicela ukubuza ukuthi njenge-Gauteng mabakhuluma ngokuthi abantu kufanele bathole ama license besicela ukuthi kube ne-amendment lo mthetho lo bawu-amend ukuthi if umuntu akahlali eSouth Africa makangawutholi i-license le yokuthi abe amayine or okanye avule ibusiness. For instance mawungabheka eSouth Africa thina especially la eGauteng sinamamayini amanengi but mawungabheka akusebenza abantu base-South Africa kusebenza abanye abantu bangaphandle. So besicela ukuthi ugovernment wase-Gauteng asincede ukuthi if umuntu akahlali akazalwanga eSouth Africa angayitholi license yokumayina nalabo abantu laba bavula amazamazama eJohannesburg thina sikwazi ukuya eJohannesburg siyokuvula imayini yakazamazama sithole legezi sithole igasi sizokwazi ukuyithengisa because kunabanye abantu abangahlali la abawenzako lo msebenzi then thina siyokubhizinisa kuphi because kunabantu abangahlali la but baya business eGauteng and igovernment thina siyibona ukuthi yenzani for thina abantu abahlala eGauteng. Ngiyabonga.
Yeah. Rekopa halibua, just introduce yourselves. Ne? State your name so that we can capture it. If you belong to an association or any organization, just also indicate. Ne? So mama number 2 ki man. Number 3, libitso la mama ki man.
Number 3.
No, mama fetso bua ke number 2. Lebitso la ke mang?
Igama lami uThoko Sarantuli, ngihlala e1104. Ngi-under i-business ye-Ivula Pipe Construction and Project. Ngikuma business.
Okay, thank you very much. Are etse mbe aba bohle ne? Thanks.
Sanbonani. Okhulumayo uCaroline Wagatheledi, Provincial Executive Committee yaSanko. Before ngizokhohlwa mina ngiyayisupporta ibill. But nginombuzo oyi-1. Ukuthi ana ibill leyo izohelpa i-community yala eGauteng na. Sibhekile manje sine number ephezulu kakhulu yabantu abangasebenzi. Singajabula kakhulu if leyo petroleum leyo iyeza and then kuvuleka namathuba omsebenzi. And singajabula kakhulu ukuthi kube ne transparency coming to uma kusubmitiwa ama application and nama selection wakhona. So besithi ke asi mina ngiyayisupporta ibill because ngisengibheka ukuthi ke izohelpa i-community. But kunento eyi-1 engidisturbayo ukuthi ke uma unganamali unga apply. Imali sesiyoyithola phi because sesihleli manje akunamisebenzi. So nale close leyo mabayibheke bazama ukuthi icover nalo onganamali. Ngiyabonga mphathi wehlelo.
Thank you very much. Number 4. You are doing well on time. You are managing time well.
Ngibulise bonke be legislation ne government. Mina ngiLuiza Lisile ngihlala eWard 104 la eSithobeni. Mina imibuzo yami mithathu. Ngiyabona ibill mayenziwa ithi izo support umuntu omnyama. I believe ukuthi kune bill na before ebekade abantu abamnyama bebaparticipate kiyo. Kuleyo bill angisho bebangasho ukuthi bafuna ukusupport abantu abamnyama. Then kule bathi bafuna ukusupport abantu abamnyama. Ngifuna ukwazi la ukuthi basupport abantu abamnyama ngani ngoba nangithi ngiyabuka ama license adurile. Ukuya bathi uyahamba uyofuna indawo la uthi la kunento kune oil or kune gas kuyadura. Ukuqala bathi uyasebenza uqasha abantu kuyadura. I-government njengoba ithi yona ku clause 34 participate freely izobhadala kamuva. Yini esizayo kulomuntu omnyama ozaba ngena kuleyo stream sokudiga nokwenza na. Eyesibili abantu bavumelekile yini ukuthi ba exchange ama permit. Kuyenzeka ukuthi ngiqale ngithi lapha ngiqalile bese ngihluleke. If kunomunye umuntu ofuna uthenga ipermit yami kuyakhonakala na or sisebenzisane ngaleyo permit yini imithetho ekhona nemithetho ezongivimba ukuthi omunye umuntu angangeni nami ngikwazi ukuthi mhlambe noma ngihluleka but ngomunye umuntu ngikhone na. And then eyesithathu for interest sake lama digging azabenziwa elwandle because nithi offshore and onshore. Izilwane ezisolwandle ziprotected kangakanani na ngoba nazo siphila ngazo kunama fish kunako konke lapha elwandle. Yini umthetho okhona ukuthi uyoprotecta lezo ngoba nazo ukudla kwethu if sikubulala njengoba sibona kunama blasting nani abulala ama fish yini ezo save lawo ma fish na. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Number 5.
Sibonge ujabulano kaMkhonza no buya eTsakane e83 imember yobuhle bamadoda men's forum. Bengithanda ukuphakamisa mina, yes, ibill siyayisupport. Kodwa okubalulekile ukuthi inkinga ikusese nama stamping blocks towards abantu abamnyama or abadevelopayo. Ama red tapes asesemaningi because there are people aba certificate, but in terms of ukuthi bathola ama permit ikusese umnqanza ukuthi abantu abathola ama permit, and then isinkinga sinayo ukuthi abantu la bahleli khona if there is mining abantu bazuzani because of kwamanje ngathi ama capital yiwasazuza abantu basavaleleke ngaphandle. The other issue esinayo i-issue yamazamazama ukuthi kahle kahle indaba yamazamazama iqedwa nene kwenzakalani because of uma ngibheka mina ngeyami indlela ukuthi lamazamazama lawa ingathi asetshenziswa yiwo ama capital babayekele indaba zamalokhunjana zamalokhunjana ama benefits sebadila direct namazamazama ukuthi ivalela abantu abaningi amathuba omsebenzi because of isikhathini esakhula ngaso besazi ukuthi if there is mining kunabantu abasebenza lapha abanama benefits abawatholayo, but now since badila direct namazamazama and kunzima ukuthi indaba yamazamazama i-capture, so iyoziqedwe nendaba yamazamazama. Ngiyabonga.
Number 6.
Sanibonani. Lona ume phambi kwenu Fierce Ngcobo. Ohlala 1 enkangane 1 ewardini 104. Ngiyabonga la ngibongela nomphakathi wonke, ngibonga lapha ngaphambili kule channel engaphambili aka government. Ngithanda ukuthi ku government nginovalo. Nje I channel ize ngaphakathi kithi ikhulume enathi into eyiphethe. Kufanele siyiphendule same time, siyiphasise same time. Into le i-channel iyahlala phansi. Yabonisana yona, thina zange sabonisana. Sokufanele nje mayithola manje ngithi ngiyayiphasisa. Lento ilethe i-channel ngaphambili kithi. Kusho ukuthi ngamanye amazwi ngiyazibulala. Ngoba ngaze ngayihluza. Lento iza ne-channel ngaphambi ukuthi ni ngiyibhekisise. Kuthi ungovernment lo uza kumina. Lokho akulethayo fanele ngiphi ithuba ukuthi nami ngiyibone lento ukuthi ni ingizela nobuhle noma ngizela nobubi esengiyazibopha. Ngoba ugovernment ungovernment ngeke umphikise. Mase iqalile into kufanele asiphi ithuba ukuthi bhekani bantu abamnake ngeniphethele kona. Hayi manje ugovernment uthi ni uyayiphasisa. Angayicabangi mina lento ni. Ugovernment uyayiletha kimi. Ngiqala ukuyibona nje manje sengithi yebo. Azange nginike ithuba lokuthi ni ngilanga liso nako iphephe limanje engiliphethe ngiqala ukulibona manje nje. Angaze ngayibhekisisa ngayizwa. Sengiyasho ukuthi yebo ngiyayivuma. Cha kokungimina nje ngufisa Ngcobo. Ngiyakubonga government. Awuzame ukwenza ngelinye uhlelo mawuza kithi. Kuthi usilethele lokho sikhona ukukuzwa kahle. Sikhona ukukusupporta kahle. Ngoba silingani masingabantu nangomqondo. Kodwa wena ungovernment siyakucela ukuthi ni channel yakho maniza kithi nathi sibantwana benu sipheni ithuba lento eniletha kithi. Sikhona ukuthi nikinisupporta ngento esiyaziyo. Ngesivume into esiyasayibona ukuthi lokho yinto sizibopha ngayo ugovernment. Isasinikezwa ukuthi nathi kusasa sibene into ethize. Manje mangithi ngilalele ngowami umqondo zinengi ikhalo ezingena ngaphakathi kunini kuthi abanye ngase siyabandlululana. Manje asifuni lento lokuthi ngase siyabandlululana. Sicela ukuthi i-channel ihlale phansi ilungise izindaba zayo nabantwana bayo mayilethe inkulumo. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much, Brafies. Let's take the last one here. Number 7. And then we go to our left.
Thobela ke atamisha mo khorong lebitso la ka ke Moruti Stephen Morudu ke emetse mokgatlho wa baruti ko Ward 104 eKangala. Putisho ya ka nna ke e latelang ya mathomo ke ye ke tlo belelang yona ya bobedi o mongwe šetše a e arabile. Putisho ya ka ke gore e ka be mokgatlo o o leng mo kajeno o ile wa nyakišiša gore mo tikologong ya rena mo le gona go na le mafelo ao petroleum ye e ka go epiwa gona na, ka gore re lebeletše gore ge e le gore mafelo ao a teng a tlo direla baagi ba mo kgauswi mmereko. Ke utlwile gore e ka re e epiwa ko mabopong a lewatle le ko dithabeng ge ne ke theeleditše seboledi se se neng se e rola mo gore e kry-ewa ko kae. Bjanong ge ba rena re le badudi ba mo re nyaka go kry-a license ya gore ro e epa, re tlo tshwanela go tloa mo ro e epa ko mawatleng na, ka gore ge re dira bjalo ro direla batho ba kwa mabopong a mawatle mmereko, rena batho ba rena ba šale ba sena mmereko. Jwale ke ne ke kgopela go tseba seo gore e ka be e gona kgauswi le rena mo re e epiwang teng na. Ke a leboga.
Re lebohile moruti. A ke re feditse ka mo akere ro simolola ka mo left a re starte ka number 1 ya rona.
Abshen, vito ra mina Eric Mlambo, ni vuya Zandspruit. My first question relates to access. I heard that to apply for the license, you have to be a registered company. So I want to know other registered entities that are not necessarily a company, what will be the reason for them not to be able to apply for the license? And then the second one is mainly the location of the resources we're talking about will be in the coastal areas. What national interest will this has for those that are in the inland in terms of participation from small businesses to communities that may have interest but not necessarily be closer? And what kind of support will we kind of ring fence for them to be able to have access? Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. You have saved us 2 minutes. Number 2.
Dumelang, nna ke Nozi ke tla Bophelong Vanderbilt Park. Ne ke botsa ntate Masha le bua ka hore le kgathetse ke batho ba frantang. Then nna ke nahana hore fronting e ntse tlo tswela pele hobaneng di-funds di a short. Ge sa tlo bua ka yona license eo batho ha ba tlo e thola e tla be sa batle tšhelete e ngata. Ho tla bo hona le training e provide-wang hore batho ba nana ba ske ba qetella ba fane ka di-license tsena ho batho ba na le tšhelete ba kgonang ho epa. So ke question tsa ka eo hore e ka re sokola tšheletenyana ya ho reka motšhininyana o rokang fela, ebe tšhelete ya ho mine yona ya ho chepa gese eo re tlo e thola jwang, re tla e thola na? Ho le thata ha kana mmusong ho thola tšhelete ya ntho e nyane fela, empa e ya ho mine ebe re tla e fumana na? Ke question ya ka eo. And then le eo ya hore training e tla provide-wa na ho batho ba fuwang di-license, and license tseo di tlo fuwa bo mang? Batho ba interested or e tlo fuwa motho o mong le o mong a nahanang kasheno hore nna ke batla ho mine gas, o tla fuwa license ka sheko lena na? Ke question ya ka, ke a leboha.
Re lebohile mme a re ko number 3.
Thank you so much for the opportunity that's presented to us. My name is Franco C. Jeffrey Mkonto. I'm from Ward 88. In both the faith-based portions as well as the NPO section. I have a few questions that we would like to present to the bill today. And in saying that, I also want to make mention of the fact that, as others have said already, I think there are a couple of loopholes as far as this bill is concerned. Number one, I don't see any provision made for accidental discovery within the bill as far as development is concerned. Meaning, what if, because people usually drill for water, which do not really necessarily require that much licensing. So if somebody discovers while drilling for water on the land, they discover oil or such like resources, oil or gas, what kind of development is going to be implemented to help that person then acquire the license, since they already have the rights to the land? The bill does not speak to that, so that needs to be included. Then also, we want to see benefits granted to South African citizens. Because currently what we are experiencing is that our neighboring countries are enjoying benefits of lower costs as far as petroleum is concerned from the same products that's being exported from South Africa. Why must South Africans pay more for extracts from crude oil leading to petroleum and a whole lot of other things, whereas our neighboring countries are enjoying the benefits of lower costs while we are already paying high cost for that. So the bill needs to speak to that as well. Then also, how will the bill deal with fronting? I think somebody asked it as far as what if somebody is not able, and we are very well aware of fronting that is taking place, especially in large corporations. In going through the bill, I do not see any provision made to deal with issues of fronting. That needs to be addressed. Then also, I know the issues of raising capital has been placed, but we also have the challenge of our SMMEs when they need to supply to manufacturing companies where payments are being delayed for up to 60 days, which obviously is a challenge. There has been a commitment, or rather not a commitment, but there has been a challenge placed on government payments as far as economic development is concerned, that companies needs to be paid within 15 days, and we still do not see this happening. So if we have upcoming people that are interested in this kind of avenues, and they put all their resources in, and they don't get paid within 60 days, then basically we are bankrupting and we are closing smaller companies. I don't see the bill addressing those kind of issues as well. The points that I've mentioned covered in the bill does not speak to proper development of interested persons. I think we need to go back to the RDP, Reconstruction and Development Program, because as far as we know currently, RDP is being brought to us in the fronting of housing. And we know that RDP is not just about housing, but if we look at the bill, we don't really see that process of reconstruction and development, especially for our smaller companies or our smaller clients. We have within our ward, Ward 88 in Nigel, we have a company that is able to supply. One of our companies is called Zulfas Consulting, and they have supplied, but because of late payments, we find that such companies are unable to supply. So that doesn't speak to reconstruction and development. And this bill that is being presented, as much as we would love it and love to have it endorsed, we need it to speak to the RDP. And currently it is not speaking to the RDP. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We extended you a bit. We gave you a bit of a reprieve. You were number? 3. So let's go to number 4.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Mandla Pete. I'm from Katlehong in Ekurhuleni, representing the NGO sector. I just wanted to find out if this bill will contribute to our GDP, to the ailing economy, because as we speak, thousands and thousands of NGOs are closing down. And in earnest, you know that as NGO, what we are doing, we're doing your work as government. So I just wanted to know, because as we speak, I just want to know if this bill will contribute and will communities benefit, or this will benefit people who are already in the petroleum industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take number 5.
Molweni, igama nguSilia Lisufi, buya Ward 63 ekuruleni eKatlehong. Some of the questions ebendizozibuza sezikavarishiwe. So, bengifuna ukwazi kule bill ukuthi ine age limit na. Okwesibini, pha ku clause 88 ithi uminister une power yokususpenda okanye cancel permit. How much do I have to have in my pocket in order ukuthi i-license i-approviwe? Enkosi.
Thank you very much. Are you related with Panyaza Lisufi? He's your cousin. Oh, Osbar. Oh, okay. Eh? It's okay. So let's take number 6. Number 6.
Sanibonani. Ngiyaxolisa angizokhuluma isilungu. Ngibingelele nomphakathi wonke.
Ungaxolisi, it's your language. So don't apologize for it. It's your language.
Thank you, Chair. Kule bill kunezinto eziningi engizinoted down, but then others sebaziraisile. But then the kunento engifuna ukuyazi ukuthi kukhulumile ngakonke, but I didn't hear ukuthi i-safety noma i-community health and safety angizwanga khulunywa ngayo. We need to know ukuthi if kuyadigwa somewhere next to the community i-safety yabo ingakanani. What is the government going to do in terms of making the community safe? And another one is that in terms of permit bakhulumile ngayo, my question was also osebenzako maybe sekayaqakeka phambili sekusetshenzwa, can that person exchange the permit now? And another thing, unemployment rate inkulu South Africa. So now abantu abaningi they won't have a permit yokusebenza because they don't have money to register to have that permit. So what is the government going to do that, especially to the youth of South Africa engake ngasebenzi? As we speak now, kunabanye abaqedile esikolweni, they are now adding the population last year in terms of unemployment. What are they going to do i-government kulabo bantwana labo abafuna ukumayina but they don't have income? Mind you, they are coming from school as we speak, so they don't have nothing esikhwameni sabo. Another thing, kunobaba iphakamisile this thing yokuthi I felt like this is an ambush, because now today we have to say ukuthi siyayiphasisa le bill noma kanjani. So it's something like it has been drafted. So I feel like this is an ambush. Fika kimina ukuthi no, why we don't, i-government zange sinikeze isikhathi sokuthi sike sihlale now this document ke kafike ekuhlaleni 21 days before, a notice of 21 days. So ayikafikanga kithina lento le. So I felt ukuthi this is wrong. But then it is good to have that thing. It is good. Don't quote me wrong, but we are ambushed. It is very, very something that I don't like ukuthi si ambushwe kanje. Give us a time so that nathi sihlale phansi. As I heard umede maga representer uthi uhambile uyenzile bayenzile research, but thina ke the community were not given time to read this document so that we can come with a concrete point ezosho ukuthi yes, we agree to this bill. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Siyabonga. Bengicabanga ukuthi wena ushulo wathi usikhulumela isiZulu. No ya change ukhuluma isilungu.
Chairperson, yes, kuphakama umoya, Chairperson.
Oh,
Thank you very
kuphakamile umoya.
much. And I'd like you to introduce me. Kintate Serane, I'm Mr. Serane. I'm from Ward 103, from Pumekaya. I represent EPCC, Pumekaya Community Committee, Ngilangkon.
7. So we're going to number 8, isn't it? Number 8 at the back.
Sanbonani. Uvusmuzi Amon Bata from Cosmos City, Ward 100, Region C. Representer Cosmos City Entrepreneurs, Yase Cosmos City, Ward 100, which is an NPO company. Thank you. In terms of, we very much appreciate the initiatives you've taken and the time and the efforts to compile this bill and the minds that have come with it, that it becomes drafted. We very much appreciate that. As much as we appreciate your initiatives, in terms of the presentation given to us here, I went through to the following questions, which I would like to highlight to the House now. We spoke about the financial guarantee. As we know for a fact that this financial guarantee thing becomes for those who are rich only. I can make an example of when we were in COVID. They said SMMEs can apply and be helped in terms of their failed businesses. But the only people who benefited in that process is the very same capitalists who are still continuing to benefit from our own resources. So what I foresee here is the very same train smash we are heading to. So if at least we can have a way that even the least non-affording SME person who's got interest must be protected and be part of this thing. When it comes to the corruption within the process, we would like to know what is it you have in plan to protect that, because we live in a world of corruption and bribery. Even in our government departments, it's so embarrassing that a person working and being paid, he still wants a cent from the very same person who's got only money for bread, who's trying to survive. So we need to know, how are you going to protect that corruption, and how are you going to deal with those corrupted? And then when it comes to, we know we've got the youth which are upcoming, and this project is a very interesting matter because it has to do with our natural resources of our South African country. Now, my question to that is, what measures have you taken to school and teach the youth and elders of interest to be able to mine and know how to do this mining job besides the university level? I think you must start to put in that bill the process which you will do, so that from the school level, our kids must start knowing what they want and take their position at an early age, so that they don't find themselves, as we are speaking about the Zamazamas. Those Zamazamas are taught in their countries from the early age on how to mine. Why are our kids not taught here in South Africa? It's because we will seem to be ignorant. Let's stop being ignorant and go back to basics. Empower our youth truly so, not by pen and paper, but in actual facts, practically from the school level and up to the level of mining. Now, going further to that, now, what is the guarantee for the future generation on the maturity date of further? Now, you spoke about 20 to 30 years on this matter, which is very interesting. But to me, 30 years is nothing. When democracy started, we were the first one to vote. And now we are 30 years in this democracy. But some of the things have not yet happened. We only hear about paper and paper. Now, my question is now, in terms of the very same kids I'm talking about, what guarantees are you giving them that they'll be the beneficiaries of that mining systems? Remember, we as adults, when we do jobs and companies, we do them for the benefit of our kids because our energy is limited, but it's for our own heritage so that our kids and future generations can take over. So please let us know how you're going to protect that, because we might be gone and then they might be harassed and those things taken away from them. And then now, when it comes to the rights of miners, now we've got a situation which you have just said here in terms of the land. I want to be open with the House. We know most of the land is owned by those capitalists who are in Europe. And now what I've seen here in this clause, there's some sort of protection which protects those people who have taken our land. Because it speaks about 30 years and the government has the right to end that thing in 30 years. And for a fact that maybe me, myself, which comes to my mind, is that it means after 30 years, that person who owns that land has the right to come to you and say, no, my brother, your time is up, I'm taking my land back. This place of yours is worth 5 rand. They give you 5 rand and you are out of the picture. So what is it that the government is going to do to protect that and our future generations so that that thing doesn't end, it continues? I think the last question is that one of 50% and 100%. I think this is a mind game to me, because now if the government says it's got the right to a percentage of share, which is good, but then there at the first somewhere there, when you spoke about the percentage a person must contribute in terms of numbers, differs from these things. You cannot expect everything as a benefit, but when it starts, I must sweat on my own. I think you need to rectify that and tell us how is the government going to assist us 100%, mentor us into the process, teach us into the process, build industrial areas that will teach our kids to stop nyaupe and start learning on how to mine and go and mine every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've also given you a reprieve. Your time was up, but we borrowed from the time of others. So that was number 8? Let's go to number 9.
Sorry, nothing is keep umuntu one. Is it fine? So ngizongena after yena.
Who's number 9? There can only be one number 9.
Mine, there is.
Yeah, I think it was you. You were number 9.
I
So
written down.
you are recognized. Yeah? 8. Why at number 8?
8, 9,
What number are you? Or 8. Let's go to 8. Sorry for that. Sorry about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lucindi Somkutu from West Rand in the mining area, from an enterprise organization called MCDE, Mining Community Development Enterprise. Mine is to say, firstly, I'm a little bit disappointed by the bill that is just in front of us. As a veteran in the mining area, Department of Minerals, I'll start with you to be disappointed because you have made a lot of promises in the mining communities in the past, including the visit you made in the mining areas in 2021. But none of the promises that you have made to us, the communities, have seen or have been made. That is one thing that makes me to be weak about this bill. Because firstly, in a democratic situation, we are government as voters. You are government officials. You are government leaders. You are not government alone. For the fact that in the preparation of such documents, there are no community leaders amongst you, it means you are undermining community existence. Because today in the mining area, we have got an issue of zamazamas because of the very same thing of undermining the communities whilst you are preparing documents or laws about it. We have even assisted for the first time since 1994 in making and amending 2018 mining charter. But in that 2018 mining charter, have you revised, you Department of Minerals, how much have you succeeded? How much is being implemented out of that 2018 mining charter? Because it's less than even 2% that has been achieved. Because of the very same thing of undermining the communities whilst you are preparing such documents. To me, it's a good document, but my worry is one, it's not going to be implemented to benefit us, the communities, because nothing in the mining area has benefited South African communities since 1994. This is 2024. You are still bringing a document where you don't involve the communities. And lastly, who is this PASA that you're talking about? Because you are always saying the minister is going to take recommendations from PASA. Who are these people? Who is this PASA? Because there is a small scaling act that is small scale mining scale act that has been passed in 2018 or 2019, somewhere there. How many small-scale miners have you started? The money you are talking about in mining permits and so forth, you know for a fact, it's a cause for fronting. Because even the name Black in Parliament, you will find a Chinese guy called a Black. But let's live practical on the ground with that China and a real Black of South Africa. You will see the gap that the Chinaman sees himself as a Chinese. A Black must stay there. I would like to say my last word. Can you please, as our government officials, try to look things the way they are according to the constitution of the country? Because you are undermining us. Any other department, even the Economic Affairs Department, is the same thing. Because we are small companies on the ground, we are not assisted in any other way. If you have got your CK document, then it's fine. What about the knowledge that you must have to be a businessman of pricing, financing, marketing? Nobody cares about it. So what is the difference in this one? Why must we take a bill and give people who are oppressing us with these things? Because tomorrow, it's somebody who has got money who's going to be given access by the very same PASA or the minister on that. It is happening right now in the mining area, in the mining sector in our country. So what is the difference with this one? So can you, when you plan things, remember that in your South African community, you have got different age categories. You have got the age that fought for this country, including myself. You have got the age that entered during 94 in the politics of this country. You have got the age of 2000s. So those that we can't think the same. We can't see the things the same. So don't talk to us as if you are talking to young children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take number 9.
Sanbona, mina ngigama nguMakhosonke waKambatha. Ngirepresenta iZBF Zirbekom Business Forum. Ngiphuma eWest Rand. Iwari yami with this bill, it seems like inama hidden agenda amaningi. Number one, we're talking of our application. Our application cost lawo, like we know money it's money. Mele sazi ukuthi ama applications lawo for, especially for abantu base community. Mele babe ne cost engakanani for them to get those requirements afunakalayo. And what will be those requirements at the same time? Because sometimes Zomela the last minute, but you know, you need to do this, you need to get this, you need to get ama text, you need to get ama coida, and those things require money. So we need those costs, we need those requirements, zibe given to us, ukuthi sihlale sazi ukuthi yini ngazo. And ngicela ukuthi futhi nibe more specific kuma opportunities. Remember, I can't compare myself with the Shell Garage. Shell Garage is one of the abantu abayenza this ama foreign actually ala ayenza these things. Of which now they want a share in this thing. But once we know ourselves ukuthi sine tingenze nje example in construction. I-construction kuzofika i-main contractor, asimazi ukuthi usukaphi, ubani, usuka wherever la suka khona. But we know ukuthi on that main contractor I got 30% or I got whatever percentage. At least ngiyazi ukuthi okay, the community yiyo-ke benefits from that 30%. Another thing, there's ama graduates, ama youth, and the community at large. Yini into ekhona for bona. Remember, ama graduates, abantu abapasa from esikoleni, abanye basese ku matric. I-bill, at least ngabe yasho ukuthi okay, let them study this, let them prepare themselves like this, ukuthi at least by the time these things start, iba on a pipeline, start imove nabo, bangasali emuva abantu base South Africa. Because at the end of the day, nobody needs aba South African are lazy, awafuni kufunda, but then siyabona ukuthi izinto seziyahamba, izinto seziyenzeka, base bathi hayi kufuneka engineer se-America, kufuneka engineer yakuphi. I think those were my all clarity bengwafuna awathi le bill le ngabi nama hidden agenda kakhulu ngiyabonga.
All right, thank you very much. Number 10. Let's quickly take number 10.
Ithi ngibonge mphathi nabo bonke abakhona kule ndibano. My name is Opa Old John from West Rand, Kagiso Community Ward 10. Engizophawula kuyo engivisa ubuhlungu. We feel ukuthi again we've been ambushed, smuggled. Ngebill ekumele isupportiwe singenasikhathi esiningi to peruse the document. As I'm speaking, I'm empty-handed in terms of the document, which we must go through yon. But nevertheless, I'll talk to issues of triple BEE. I don't know for the past years, what were your achievements, your gains in terms of empowerment? We need to disclose and declare ukuthi indeed triple BEE ike yasebenzela singabantu abansundu. Then kulandele mining charter. Unfortunately, the issue or the concept here oil mining kungona sivela ngayo. We have never been school taught about oil mining. And again, we are not even aware ukuthi apho sihlala khona, where is a place where we can extract mining, and if there is, why a community nga benefit in terms of community benefit chain? Sesithetha nge-SLP, social labor plan. In awarding your permits or license, you need to distinguish between a permit and a license. How long do they take in terms of your lifespan? In terms of skills development, unfortunately, we have a school that has been launched last year, speaks on mining, but it doesn't have an impact on giving us the reality, the mining. Because we have learned a lot of people are happy when their children attend this school, bachelors and so on, and become useless and redundant. Why these issues of learnership and skills development, especially, they favor abantwana less than 35. How about these people who've got life experience in mining also, who wants to do business as SMMEs also to be empowered kula learnership plan. Can we request ukuthi those laws should be changed in the bill so that we accommodate people who's got vision and mission in terms of ensuring that they run a business? The other point which I want to raise, yamazamazam, sihluphekile kagiso, to the past 3 days or 4 days, there are gun shootings, and umphakathi is shivering in terms of these things that are going on zamazamazam. So it's unfortunate ukuthi umphakathi is not even empowered galama mining issues ayenzakala khona. So what we are requesting, because it has never been touched in Indaba yokuthi, there shall be outreach program where people are empowered. Ukuthi, when we speak about mining, what does it entail? So that you are able to make meaningful input. But I have never heard of any small company, emerging company from black owners. Ukuthi, now we have benefited, these are the results. And I'm just shocked ukuthi mangena la. I don't even see some companies, small companies who have benefited, or any show. The last part. We request funding be accessible kwaba abangakhoniyo, especially the small emerging one. Number 2, indaba ye territorial. There's an issue yokuthi nina you coming from Mpumalanga or you are coming from Natal and so on. We are not supposed to be part of that. Besicela nilungise criteria around that. But if finance sicela ibe easy, ibe accessible, ibe affordable, abantu banikezwe ne-mentorship on top of that. People must be empowered, because we are just realizing ukuthi the economy lies on mining, and we must be empowered. Nabantwana esikolweni in terms of their curriculum must be enacted and be mandatory in terms of apho kwenziwa khona excavation, mining and so on. Thank you very much.
All right, let's take the last one.
Angikuthokoze mhlala situlo. Ngingujeke eRithabiseni Ward 103. Ngisebukhosini bakwaMahlangu kusokhuluma. Ibile bengimunye wegadi yokulima ngihelebha abantu ukuthi bathole ukudla. Kodwa ke siyayithokoza ibhini mhlala situlo ne team yakho enibuya government, siyanithokoza cool. Nasi imbuzo ngaphakathi komlinga mthetho lo esuzwako ukuthi umlinga mthetho naku ngaphakathi kwalomlinga mthetho sibona kunento enye esiyibona ingozi khulu. Abantwana bethu bakhulile namhlanje, sebo baba mara ngaphakathi kwemibereko abayikereya baqalelwe phasi, bayalila kithi futhi sibazali. Kunemayini khona la eduze enyonga, nouya kolontutununu, nouye Elias, kunomayini epalisa. Kodwa nongathi uyokucheka lapha akunabantwana bethu ababereka, ukhambe uye eKhaline. Ngizubaba impleja lento umazi ukuthula umthetho la. Bantwana bakwethu akhe siqaleni ke nibuyelene emva nisilethele umthetho siyawuthokoza. Mara umthetho lo uyasifaka uyasikhipha thina sibazali balabantwana, abantwana bababona ingasuthi thina siyabakhipha kanti sikhitshwa ngini ngobanyana ubaba omunye ubekile wathi umthetho naso uzila. Umthetho lo siyawuvuma nje nikhamba nawo nibuyela nawo emva. Nanifika le ku government nithi iye i-2000 yamadoda yuvumile nabomma bawuvumile nabantwana babo bawuvumile umthetho uyaphasiswa. Na isivikeleko sokuthi nase baqedile ukumayina bavulile leyo gas, bavulile leyo petrol, abantwana bethu ukuthi babenefite ngobanyana banganamali bayongena njani nisiboniseni ukuthi nathi na esibereke emakhosini bazosho bavikela njani ngobanyana bathoma bathi nina makhosi aninalutho into enisitshela yona ngobana nisitshela ningumphakathi mara nithi nisijamele fana nento engekho. So siyanibawa buyelani ku-government nimbaweni ngomoya ophasi ukuthi sibantwana bayalila abantwana bethu namakhosi ayalila balila ngomthetho lo ukuthi umthetho lo abantu ababoyokhavareka njani ngobanyana nanka amakhampani khona manje le mayini umuntu okhona oyiphethe uzibuyela ndawo akakho la ecommunitini le esinayo thina singumphakathi sibenefita kuphi yiloyo mbuzo esithi kwalawo gas siyokubenefita njani thina singanalutho singanasente nje sibolazara nje siyongena njani lapho. Ngiyathokoza mhlala situlo.
All right, thank you very much. Agere aratwala mutuko morago agere we noted 18 hands. All 18 hands spoke. Agere some of them we even extended the time. But Chair, before ki busetsa back to you, there are 2-3 things which I want to mention. Agere, so that we don't muddy our process. 2-3 things. Number 1, there's about 3 hands who, when they spoke, they said, Rale ambusha. We are ambushed. I want to explain again, so that even for tomorrow's purpose, you must have an appreciation of these processes. This bill that is before you was published last year for public commentary in November the 4th. So it was sent out. Again. And again, let's chaba. Because our constitutional democracy says we're both representative but also participator. It means you also have the responsibility of seeking information. Again, on the website of Parliament, this bill has been there for 3 months. Again, so from time to time you must check. Even meetings of Parliament, and they are broadcasted 24 hours. Again, you must look, you must follow, you must take a keen interest. We would have wanted a situation where we could come and present it first time around, and then come back again second time around. But it's not practical. Gauteng has got over 1,500 neighborhoods, 1,500 beyond. You can almost imagine if every single one of those communities said, "Tao represent for the second time." We're never going to pass any law. Again. So we also expect you as members of the community, or if you know that you are interested in a particular sector, you must always keep yourself updated and abreast of recent developments. That is how you develop yourselves. So we would have wanted that to be the case, but unfortunately, it's impractical. And then the second thing which is being raised, the chair, which I really thought we may also have to address. This piece of paper that is before you, it's not an act. It's not a final document. It's a bill. A bill means a document which is in its temporary form, meaning that it awaits for members of the community to have a say in it before it can become a final act of parliament. Again, so this is not final. And that is why we're here, so that we receive your inputs. And having received your inputs, we take this bill back to Parliament, where they would look into all of your inputs, or can this work? Can this not work? And ultimately you receive feedback on your inputs. I get like you see about. For those of you who are within the sector, you are also empowered to do written submissions. Meaning if there are additional points that you want to canvass to be reflected in the bill or in the final act, you can do a written submission. I get like you. So this session is not an end in itself. It means you still have got an opportunity beyond this meeting, or you can still submit, so that Parliament, when it considers the bill, coupled with the inputs that are made in this gathering. So I thought, Chair, we needed to clarify that. Thank you very much. Over to you.
That simplifies the process. Again, Rautwane. You have until the 20th of February to make your written submissions. Submissions, we will give you the email address where you can send. Up until between now and the 20th, you can make your submissions. The suggestions is a little kentseng mo. Mema mkhali udutlule utatatlo responder, but you can still write them down and send them to the email. She will give us the email, I imagine. Then we will say, this is me, I want to say this on the bill. You have until the 20th of February. Hore o kenye pono ya hao on the bill. Mema Mkhali, do you want to respond? But I think it was suggestions. You would have noted some very important, very critical, progressive suggestions. What is important? The community area. Let's carry corruption, please. When you do your registration, register or do the process, ka dignity, ka humility, ka transparency. That is the second part. The third part, community area. Look out for people that are not employed, especially young people that will see what the future your country. So let us do all those things. But generally, there is a general acceptance of the bill. And people are saying we will still want to engage and make our submissions. Please, when you do your final document, include some of the progressive suggestions that the community has given, because that is why we are here. Their voice is important. That is why the Gauteng legislature, your voice is our view. So that is very important. So we represent these people. So balla le ka lona di technocrats re la tshwenya man. Le tshwenya batho. To a re lokiseng taba ya di technocrats, so that democracy constituencies are going to benefit mo yona. So we're passing the bill. Thank you very much, Member Mkhali and your colleagues. We're hoping that as we finalize the bill, we will still continue engaging. So on behalf of these people, then we move to the second presentation. Media Diapollo. Media Pollo Munaheng, Utwako Small Business Department nationally. At the second presentation. I looked at the presentation, nice and short, but don't go into the longness of it. So stick to salient and important points that we want to see we sharing with our communities. Then after that, Gauteng must come sit here as well, so that as soon as Media Polo afeta, Masha, so that as soon as it's done, then you get into the executive process as well. Okay. No, that's fine. Mam Khalibari, just an overview on the questions, or what do you want to take out of the engagement that we had with the community. Oscar Tobela presentation go fast. Important points that you're picking up from the community. I get about a lot of a meeting. But to Baba Gavante by Dutim, Riska Trenadi Tulo fail. Just say, can we have another roving mic that we could give to her? Then we just 2 seconds, 3 minutes. Don't take long, Manako High. Then Mediapolo, you ready? Okay, sharp. As soon as she's done, please do your thing, Loena Mo.
Okay, thank you very much, community, for the inputs that you have just said now. And I think as the chair has indicated, that you are allowed to submit the written comment. This process is not closed. So I think maybe let me touch on, there was a question also on saying who is PASA, and I think I've elaborated also to say that PASA, they have their offices in Cape Town, is a fully constituted office with a CEO and employees. They have been in existence for a while. It's one of the subsidiaries under the DMRE. And there was an issue of financial guarantee that is required. Maybe I need to mention this to the community. The oil and gas sector is very capital intensive industry. So when we say financial guarantee, we don't want a situation whereby we issue a license to individual and at the end of the day, they can't even, develop or explore optimally. And the bill is very clear. We are saying that every petroleum right, because we know that for exploration and production of oil and gas, those who are participating is multinational company. So how we are going to ensure that black people or South Africans benefit in this sector, we ensure that every petroleum right that is granted in the country, there is about a minimum of 10% black participation, meaning that that petroleum right, it must ensure that at least the minimum is 10% black participation. So we are trying by all means to ensure that black people, they also play a role in the development of our petroleum resources. And there was also an issue saying, how are we going to ensure that the small business enterprises benefit? I think if you've heard on the news, I don't know if community has heard, the minister or the department has just signed a memorandum of agreement with IDC on the exploration fund. So the exploration fund is one of the funds that aim also to assist our black people to participate in the oil and gas, in the mining of oil and gas. So there will be a time where people will be required to apply for assistance in terms of that. And maybe let me also ask my colleagues to answer some of the issues, because there was a bit of language barrier also from my side.
Okay, afternoon. My name is Tshwane Phahladira. I would like to touch on the issue of illegal mining. In short, we are busy with the process of the general law amendment, where we want to incorporate some harsher punishment for these illegal activities that are happening. And the other issue is on the how are we going to benefit SMMEs on these projects, because they are based in the coastal areas. The same principle will apply even in exploration, whereby procurement opportunities will have targets for South Africans to participate in the mining value chain. Also, the other issues on what? Yeah.
So maybe just to add on, I think I missed that, on the issue of what will happen, what benefit will the inland communities derive from the exploration of oil and gas, since the exploration is in the coastal area. So there will be a huge benefit, because what we are looking, exploration and production is the upstream. There will also be the downstream beneficiation in terms of logistical, in terms of supply. Because remember, once there is production, that oil is going to be transmitted through pipelines. There will also be construction of pipeline, and there will also be requirements for the supply and of equipment and so forth. So there will be a huge beneficiation, and the development of the oil and gas sector, it will contribute immensely in the GDP in terms of job creation, in terms of growing our economy. Hence, we've said that, the oil and gas development is going to be a game changer for South Africa. We've seen it with USA, shale gas. It was a huge game changer. It has benefited the USA immensely. So with us, we are looking at that also. It will benefit us immensely. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the responses. Let's remember that we can still add, submit until by the 20th. Then we'll give you the email address before we close the meeting. Mediapol, hit it. Thank you very much. Start by introducing yourself. Thank you.
Good afternoon, honorable members, the community at large. My name is Diepollo Monaheng. I am from the Department of Small Business Development. I am here to do the presentation on the National Small Enterprise Bill, which is amending the existing piece of legislation, the National Small Enterprise Act 102 of 1996. My duty here is to the presentation and to take the concerns and the comments and the questions arising from the members of the public and take them back to the department, where we are going to prepare the responses. At the end of the presentation, I will leave my email address and that of my colleagues who is not here, unfortunately, so that you can be able to forward all your concerns, comments to our email addresses. With your permission, can I sit down and do the presentation while I'm seated? Thank you. The presentation outline on the National Small Enterprise Bill. I'll start with the objective of the bill, and Small Enterprise Development Finance Agency, which is a new agency that is going to be formed to amalgamate the Department of Small Business department entities. I'll speak to the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombudsman Services, which will be a new office that will be introduced to assist the small businesses in terms of dispute resolution. I'll also speak to the establishment of the office, the powers and the functions that of the Ombudsman. I'll speak to the unfair trading practices, a section in which we want to give the minister powers to declare certain practices to be unfair trading practices. We have a definition of the small enterprise in the current legislation. The department has decided to say this definition is not serving the purpose. We need to redefine the definition. I'm also going to talk to section 20, subsection 2 of the Act, which needs to be amended so that it can be in line with the recent Constitutional Court judgment. I'm also going to talk to the Portfolio Committee on the National Small Enterprise Bill. So the objective, the objective of the bill, the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill 2023 seeks to amend the National Small Enterprise Act 102 of 1996 with the aim to provide for the establishment and the registration in terms of the Companies Act number 71 of 2008 of the Small Enterprise Development Finance Agency and the subsequent incorporation into SEDA of the Small Enterprise Finance Agency, the CFA, the Cooperatives Bank Development Agency, the CBDA, and the Small Enterprise Development Agency. Why did the department decide to amalgamate the three agencies? It has transpired that people, they encounter challenges to say, in terms of assistance, they'll consult with the SEDA for assistance, then be assisted in terms of the business proposal, and have to go again to other offices, CFA, to apply for finance. And you may find that it becomes a challenge to our people because the offices are in separate areas, which might pose challenges for our members of the public. Hence, the decision to amalgamate the three agencies into one. We have also decided, as I've said before, that we are going to introduce the Office of the Ombudsman. That is the primary key because we have realized that the small businesses are encountering challenges in terms where maybe there are disputes arising out of contracts, especially with the big companies. Why? Because where there's a dispute, the big companies, they've got the financial muscle to take these small businesses for litigation in our courts. And litigation, it has become very costly for small businesses. They don't survive. They end up not having to challenge these big companies. So as the department, we have decided that if we can have an ombudsman officers that can adjudicate on those cases, it will be very easy for the small businesses to get justice. The establishment of the SIDFA gives effect to a cabinet decision to enable and provide for integrated government support, both financial and non-financial, to small enterprises, including cooperatives. In addition, the amalgamation of the three entities also contributes to the cabinet-endorsed rationalization of the number of state-owned entities. The formation of this SIDFA, it was a cabinet decision to say we need to amalgamate so that our own people can be able to be assisted. So this amendment seeks to endorse the cabinet decision. I'll just highlight the purpose of what SIDFA will do. The purpose of SIDFA will be to ensure that the small enterprise and cooperative ecosystem is able to offer the most efficient business advice, business development services, investment support, business facilitation, and incubator support. The vision of the SIDFA is also to be a leading business development entity that will drive economic transformation and inclusive growth in the economy through ensuring the provision of customized financial and non-financial support and greater access to finance for SMMEs. We know that our SMMEs, they struggle with capital when they start their businesses. So this seeks to boost the SMMEs in terms of providing that financial support they need to kickstart their businesses. As already explained, this is going to be established as one of the state-owned entities. Coming to the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombudsman. The mischief the bill aims to remedy is the lack of effective and affordable access to a justice mechanism for small enterprises. Business-to-business disputes and late and non-payment of legitimate invoices are a significant reality in the lives of small enterprises across the world, with very real implications on their growth. Section 34 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa guarantees that everyone has a right to have any dispute that can be resolved by the application of law decided in a fair public hearing before a court, or where appropriate, another independent and impartial tribunal or forum. Hence, the establishment of the Office of the Ombudsman, so that the small businesses can have access to fair adjudication of their disputes. The litigation route for resolving disputes places SMMEs at a significant disadvantage relative to their larger business counterparts for at least 3 reasons. The financial cost of unresolved disputes is heavily borne by small enterprises. Even where the amount involved is large, going to court is still a prohibitive proposition for small enterprises. The process is cumbersome, time-consuming, and of course expensive. As I've elaborated, the issue of the big companies having the financial muscles to take small businesses to court, which they cannot afford the litigation cost. The bill provides for the office as a juristic person and sets the criteria for the appointment of the ombudsman, who will be accountable to the minister and parliament. Provide for the functions of the office to be performed by an ombudsman assisted by any deputy ombudsman operating in regional offices when necessary. The bill also outlines that for this office to run, there has to be an ombudsman, a deputy ombudsman, and the officials that are going to assist the ombudsman in executing his mandate in terms of assisting in resolution of the disputes. This would be an independent body, because even where you have provided services to a government department and there are issues that are rising, you'll be able to take that government department to the office of the ombudsman for you to get justice for the services provided. I will just highlight the functions, powers, and the funding of this office. The bill provides for the office to consider and dispose of complaints in a procedurally fair, informal, economical, and expeditious manner, and by reference to what is equitable in all the circumstances, with due regard to the contractual arrangement or other legal relationship between the complainant and any other party to the complaint. The Ombuds Service will provide a full suite of services, from complaints handling to investigation, alternate dispute resolution, adjudication, contracting, practice, modeling function to assist small enterprises, and draft and sign fair and sound contractual agreements. Determinations by the Ombudsman must be made in writing, must include the reasons for the determination, and copies of the determination and complaint must be sent to the clerk or register of the court that would have had the jurisdiction in the matter had it been heard by a court of law. Determinations by the Ombudsman are mandatory and binding, providing an alternative dispute resolution mechanism with the aim of avoiding litigation, which is expensive and time-consuming. Provision is, however, made for review, specifically on the grounds of 1, illegality, procedural unfairness, or irrationality, thus still protecting the constitutional rights of all persons involved. When you take your case to the office of the Ombudsman, you have a complaint, they have to do their own investigations so that they can be able to reach a fair and unbiased resolution of the matter. Unfair trading practices. On this one, the bill enables the minister to, on recommendation of the Ombudsman, declare certain trading practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited unfair trading practices. On this one, we are giving the minister the powers to say, with the advice from the Ombudsman, from the experience of the cases that would have been referred to that office, for minister to say, these kind of trading practices are not going to be permissible. I'm going to declare them the unfair trading practices. But that power is not an absolute power by the minister. She can only do that on recommendation by the ombudsman. The bill set the parameters and procedures in terms of which the minister, by notice in the Gazette, may declare certain practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited unfair trading practices. These procedures, amongst other, include the following. Before issuing a notice contemplating to declare certain practices to be prohibited, unfair trading practices, the minister must first consult with the minister responsible for trade, industry, and competition. Following the publication of the intention to declare certain practices to be unfair trading practices, the minister must consult with the ministers responsible for the national functions that will be affected by such a declaration. The intention and reasons to declare certain practices as prohibited unfair trading practices must be published in the Gazette for public comment. Before finalization, to say these practices are unfair business practices, that will be published in the Government Gazette for the members of the public to raise their concerns and to comment, of which that would be taken into consideration before the minister could make that final declaration to say these businesses, I declare them as unfair trading business practices. The definition of the term small enterprise. The definition for small enterprise, amongst others, sets the size categories as well as the criteria and the thresholds determining the different size categories of small enterprises. The objective is to reduce the number of size categories as well as criteria to simplify the classification of the different size categories of small enterprises. There are currently 4 size categories. That is small, very small, micro, and medium. And the third criteria, number of employees, total turnover, and the total gross asset value. The size category, very small, will be removed. The size category, very small, to be subsumed into the size category, small, because users found it not to be useful. Meaning that we are not, in the definition, we are no longer going to have small and very small, because the term very small has been included in the term small on the basis that the term very small, it does not serve any purpose. The abbreviation will change from SMME to MSME, micro, small, and medium. The criteria asset value to be removed. There is no reliable evidence-based data available to support the criteria of asset value. This will allow for thresholds to be set on evidence-based data. The amendment of Section 20, subsection 2 of the Act. The bill also proposes an amendment to Section 20, subsection 2 of the Act to provide clarity on the interpretation of the powers assigned to the minister in amending the schedule to the Act. This amendment is necessary to bring the section in line with a recent Constitutional Court judgment. Section 20, subsection 2 of Act 102 of 1996 gives the minister the powers to amend the schedules. And it has been found that because the schedule is part of the principal legislation, the minister cannot have the power to amend the principal legislation, because that power lies, it lies with the parliament to amend legislation. Hence, the amendment of this section. The Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development hosted public hearings on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill in all 9 provinces from the 26th October 2023 to 23 November 2023. Comments received through the public hearings were in general positive. The department responded to the comments received during the public hearings. Minimal amendments were made to the bill based on public recommendations received. The National Assembly considered the bill on the 6th December 2023 and recommended that the bill submitted to the NCOP for concurrence. It is recommended that the Select Committee notes and considers the bill and recommend it for tabling at the National Council of Provinces for concurrence. Thank you. For my email address, can I spell it for you so that you get the spelling right? Because I know there's a challenge with my name. It's written L but pronounced D. So my email address is E. Should I type it? Okay, just hold. It doesn't allow. Okay, email address is E. Monaheng, MONAHENG at dsbd.gov.za. It's EMONAHENG at dsbd.gov.za. Ke a leboha.
Thank you, Elsie. Masha?
Ya, ke nako e la ke re. A ke re le utlwile presentation. Le utlwile. Department ke. Oh ya. Re tseng department pele.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon once again, honorable members. Our input is going to be very brief. There's just few things that we are noting from this as a Gauteng provincial government. One is that we do appreciate the fact that the collapsing of these 3 agencies into one has the potential, of course, to bring in efficiencies in terms of the system, but also to save money for the state. Because at the moment, we've got a lot of agencies, especially at national level, that are providing almost similar services, basically duplicating certain things, and not necessarily complementary. So between CEDA, CIFA, and other agencies, we're saying that I think this will really help in terms of streamlining processes and simplifying things for businesses that require support, both in terms of non-financial and financial support as well. So I think we do acknowledge that part. And secondly, I think I will only just do one summary slide which summarizes the entire input. But in the main, what we're saying also is that there is a section in the bill that talks about establishing provincial structures and all of that. So our view there is that already all the provinces are the agencies they already established for fund the business, right? For example, if we are Gauteng, we look at GEP, or other provinces, the agencies tse le gore di mohola wa tsona ke gore ba kgone ho supporta di borakgwebo ka ditjhelete. So ntho e re bolelang also ke gore instead of establishing additional provincial structures, maybe our colleagues at national ba ka bona hore ba berekisana jwang le di agencies tse le gore se di exist mo di provinceng. So I think also what we are saying is that what we do not see at the moment in the bill, go na le di-penalty, right? Go bolela ka di-penalty gore if batho ba roba molao, so re tla go na ba le penalty tse so. One of the problems that we know in terms of the practice, gore the SMMEs ba dira ntho ba reng ke double dipping. So thola le gore ke a tsamaya ke ya ko SIFA ke kry-a funding, ne? Ke a tsamaya ke ya GP ke kry-a the same funding, because a gona system ya go tracker gore motho o once a fundilwe, everybody a tsebe gore motho o fundilwe. So one thing that we want to propose, gore are being this system as government, where wherever you go, if you come and say I want to apply for funding, already system itlamele tsebe gore se o fundilwe kae and o fundilwe jwang and so that re kgone spread re kgone cover the SMMEs tse dingwe in terms of funding. Otherwise then re ba le problem mo le gore re ba le SMMEs tse few tse le gore di kgone master a system and ba kgone grab funding over and over and over and over again. A gona gore a ba kgone trackiwa gabotse. So we also, what we also want to appreciate ka this bill, gore it also is proposing the consequential amendment ya Cooperative Banks Act. So we're saying, I think it is a progressive move, especially if you look at the move towards community banks as means to support entrepreneurship in our communities. Already in our communities, in our villages, lady stock fairly and all of that. Baba so renche le ngata mara molao o tlamelo ba support or ba kgono boloka tšhelete ya bona in a way le gore e tla gola as well. So we also, I think, appreciate some of the establishments of the Office of the Ombudsman. We think it will help. And then the last point, it will be on the interagency collaboration and cooperation. That's where we are saying, instead of having provincial structures, maybe let's extend the service to agencies that are already in the provinces, so that we can also save money in terms of our fiscals and fund more SMMEs. Mo presentation ya rona gona le information e ngata mara e summarize ke sona slide se. So a ke tlo tsena holo mo yona. I'm sure ba tla re verify information le gone refer to some of the things that we are saying. Mara in principle we support the bill, or it's going to help to bring efficiencies more governmenting. It will save tšhelete because, for example, at the moment there are 3 boards. Those 3 agencies will then, when the new agencies are established, will only have 1, and save tšhelete so that se se golo ke go supporta the business tse re nang le tsona tse re nyako di agang as setšhaba. Ke a leboga Chairperson.
A ke re le mo tlile re wa department. So re tla mo karolong e la ke. Aya le sa mo phapatella matsoho a ke re ke mmereki wa golomente ya bomang ya lona ke. Yeah, so bare ka sekgowa bare you don't thank a fish for swimming. Ke mosebetsi o tshwantsa o etse anyway. Le rona ke re. Le rona le re bona re lemo. Re le maloko a parliament ya rona ka mara province ya rona was standing in on behalf of yourselves. So a re ba tlo leboha for mosebetsi o. So we're going to follow a similar process. Mara e o ka re ka mathisa ka nako, because a ke rona le bo mme ba bagolo na le ba ile re mana le malwetse a rileng. At some point tshwantse re kgone ba thusa ka lunch again, so re batlo move swiftly. So re tlo tsa matso in a similar fashion. Mar wait, are you this hand ke eng o batlo commenta? O na le suggestion?
In terms of batho ba bangwe ba sa kwešišang gabotse.
Oh, ba tla e
Ke
summarize.
kgopela gore go be ka mokgwa o le yena ra mo kgopela marona a boele gape a summarize in very short ka Setswana ra o kgopela marona.
Are you agreeing? You agreeable? Ah, o ka re ba utlwile ntate. O ka re ba utlwile. Akere? It's okay. A re tse matsogo ka speed ne. This timer is at 2 minutes. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. 6 hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hands. Again. Are looking, or focus on the presentation. I know there's always a temptation to engage on other issues. But if we can focus on these issues. Again. So, number 8. Number 8. You are okay? Are you okay? Going once, twice, thrice, gone. All right. So 6, 7. Restata ka mobile. Again. Are name fair. Are starting at number 1 in this side. Can I get man number 1? Yeah. Mike. Yeah, number 1. Rumelana ka 2 minutes again. Is it okay? Or I get what Lola Wuto or Hatel. We agree. 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
Dumelang, nna ke nna Thembelihle from Zenspreid, Ward 114. Dumelang, ke nna Thembelihle from Zenspreid, Ward 114, ke community activist, ke SMME gape. Ne ke kopa go commenda mo tabeng ya likhwa gore as re di SMME re na le bothata gore le matsapa a re itemogelang one a e leng gore ka mo likhwa go na le di-opportunity tse di ngata mare bothata bo bongwe fela gore likhwa boto e re kwalela di-channele ga re kgone go kry-a di-opportunity because melao le melawana ya bone e gagametse thata mo e leng gore le ha e ka ba gore wa leka especially di-Zenspreid e le di-informal settlement o thole le gore ga re na le bo di-title deed le ka mokgwa e leng ka teng ga nkitla go bo go nna le kgonagalo or yone phumelela gore o kgone go kry-a opportunity mo go rekiseng yone likhwa ene ga ke itse gore a me puso a e lemogile gore yone likhwa ke yone e tsenyang tšhelete e ngata go feta di-opportunity tse di ngata or bo di-spaza shopo tse batho ba kana ba rekisa go iphedisa likhwa e na le di-opportunity tse di ngata mare ga ke bone e fa rona barekisi gore re kgone go tsenela re rekise ka semolao tse di ngata tsa rona re di rekisa re se mo molaong because of kgatelelo ya teng gore re kopa mme ba boele morago ka gore mo bekeng e fetileng ba ile ba tla ko go rona ha re tla go utlwa deo ba buang ka teng ga re na phumelelo epe tsholofelo epe bogolosegolo ebile ha e le gore ga ona mo nnang ko teng gore o ka kry-a opportunity gore re kopa le fokotse melao bogolo fa le paletswe at least re feng gape di-permit nyana tsa certain months nyana re kgone gore re rekise nyana re itsose re gole go fitlhelela re kry-a dilo tse le di tlhokang or yone opportunity or di-requirements tsa lona tse le di batlang batho ba ba tswang ko metseng or ko mafatsheng or ko dipolekeng tse e leng gore di ko tlase or nkare batho ba ba dikobo dikhutshwane ga nkitla ba ba nna le kgonegelo ha e tla mo likhwa bagolo ra kopa ke a leboga.
Number 2.
Sanibonani nonke. Lo khuluma ko uNdlovu eKhalineni omele iECD Center yase Mountain View ophinde abe ngumfundisi. Mina nginesikhalo la, ngiyabezwa abantu be-government baya-deliver yonke into abayidelivayo iyazwakala. As umuntu ohambe nge-wheelchair about 15 years, ngenza unyaka we-16 this year, there is people ukuthi bafundekile. They were educated, but ku-government, ngibona ingqosana abantu government abathlokomelako esif abantu bama-wheelchairs. The only thing government abathlokomela ngayo, ubathlokomela ngomdende. Imali yomdende, what can do? As if umuntu onabantwana abawu-5, abawu-6. What you can do with the 2,000 something oyithola ku-government. Government kuma-sectors akasinikezi i-chance yomsebenzi. There is no work for the disabled people. And I think each and every one okhona la obuya ngaphasi kwe-government, even if ngasuka manje ngithi I'm applying something to make a better hit, they don't take me there serious. And I tried lot of doors. Even now, ngibuya ku agriculture, even it's not even 2 days. I was at agriculture. So they say we can't help you. So I want to know good government le labantu ababa disabled ngoba befuna or baba disabled because it's just happening. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Number 3.
Thobela. Ke tshela number 3, ke tla ba number 3. Ke Gilbert wa Sekhukhune.
Mabelenyana, why o motshela?
Awu wa ke re ba mpha. Gape abas awa mpha.
Number 3, ke man number 3. Ka re lo re tlhaka-tlhakantshetsa, wa ntse re skipa ro tlhaka-tlhakana. A re tse number 3.
Sanibonani, ngiyabingelela ngusara Jiana, umama Mahlangu eBronkhorstspruit eRthabiseni. Sizwile siyathokoza konke nikhulumileko lapha. Sithemba ukuthi mhlawumbe abantwana njengoba ngenyana kukhulunywa nje kuba nizabasiza ngemali yokufinyelela kulezo zinto ebenizikhuluma njengamanje. Kwami ebengikujamele nengikusikimeleko njengamanje, ngicela ukuthi please can you be honest nedi ngama address nangama phone number enisinikela wona la, ngoba really at all times legislature yasinikeza ama phone number, ama contact wokuthi sizokutholaphi, kodwa sele kuphelile la uthi wenza lokho kwenzako lekhaya sele sewuthengene airtime uthi ufonela lapho amalungiselelo sewuyenza lokho abakutshele khona. Loyo muntu wala uma phone number is nowhere to be found. Then lezo number lezo azisebenzi. Sicela ukuthi abo WW labo batholakale basebenza. Phone number akho njengoba usitshelile la usiye sacabanga ukuthi uyathembeka, bese akufumaniseke ukuthi ngempela uyatholakala enungiphendule. Ngiyabonga.
All right, number 4.
Thobela. Mkhalabi. Ke tlo bia ka tsela a tlhompo. Ke le Gilbert wa Sekhukhune. Mma ile wa ga Mmamogobo. Taswa ke zamile go no go laetša gore e tlhompha ka mo kae. Ke sa nya go tshela mothoke. Ka ge shitse go boletse ka dipile tše ke ra tseba. Taswa re tlwaetse gore aba etla le tsona. Re fela re dumelana mo re dumelana gona. Dipile tše ke nnete a se taba gore ke finale. Mara rena ba ga Sekhukhune re tlo dumelana le tsona ka tseleso. Ka gobane mo tafoleng ela, a se mokgatlo mo teng mola. Ke mekgatlo e be different. That's why batho ba le mola. O mong le o mongwe ke delegate. Ba ka se dumele gore ba dire dilo tša go tšwa tseleng. And re tlo dira sure, rena ba ka Sekhukhune. Ge ba dira tšeo tša go tšwa tseleng, re tlo kitima le lena, ka mo pele ga lena. Ke tlo bolela mantšu a mahuto. Kgomo ya ga Sekhukhune a ntšhe boloko ka moka. A e ka ntšha ya hwa.
A o e boletsa botse man. A re se ka ntshang boloko kaofela, ke re lo utlwile. Le shapeng fela, le ikgeng fela modimo mo. A re ngo number 5. Number 5. If you say Kopole, we skip you, ne?
Dumelang kaofela. Yo bua mo ke Selaelo from Westland. Nna ke tlo bua ka mathata a re ban I was ne ke na le shop during the times about 84 le nako tseo. Hona enong kan di foreigners di kene di business tsa rona di wele. Ke tlo botsa ho lona hore what is the government benefiting from these foreigners tse tshwereng dishopo tse mo locationeng tsa rona? Because hona enong ha ba hiri ma South African. You go to Chinatown, there's no South African e berekang mole e hirilweng ke ntwena. So what are the laws tsa small enterprise tse protecting the South Africans? Because what I'm seeing is these companies that can mo South Africa, these foreigners ba berekang ba tshwereng di tax shop, they are protected by you, but South Africans are not protected. We are not hired, ha re thole mesebetsi, but they are benefiting from everything supplying in South Africa. So I want to know how to protect it, because even the people ba checkang hore these people are selling dijo tse seng right. You are not doing anything. Bana ba shwa, but you are not doing anything. And xenophobia, it's not xenophobia. As a government, you must protect your people. Or make sure you send inspectors to all these spaza shops, or direct to right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 6.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguSibusiso wakaKhumalo ngisuka eWestern area eWard 17. Okokuqala ibill ngiyayisupport. Okwesibili ugovernment uza nezinto ezinhle, but iproblem kagovernment wethu aba monetary. You don't monitor, because if you can go around Gauteng, there are many white elephant projects of which kuwaste imali lapho. Why? Because the government yethu ay monitor. Then enye issue engawuzwa laphana kukhulunywa ngendaba ze forum. Yes, the forum must be there so that the forum izokhona ukuthi imonitor, because most of the time nina nihlele ema officeini izinto ziyanakala on the ground. And then the issue ama spaza shop, I don't want even to talk about it any further. But all I'm saying is, naze naliqhatha izwe lase South Africa sibhekile, because these people laba ama Somalis, there is no country abangena free like South Africa. South Africa ku free, it's a banana republic. Economy yethu iyawa ngapha abantwana abasebenzi. Sihluleka ngisho nokurana minor things isiphaza zasemakasi. Zirano abantu bangaphandle, but we are having a government. Ngiyaphinda futhi naze naliqhatha izwe lase South Africa. History will judge you. All of you, it will judge you. Whether you are in opposition, whether you are ruling, for the fact that you are in government, history will judge you. Sikhona sonke. Thank you very much.
Let's take number 7. Let's take number 7. Number 7.
Right, afternoon again. I would like to communicate in English so that the people who are holding the finances are English people. They must hear from first instance.
Just hold on, my brother. Just hold on. There's a lot of movement.
Okay.
And it's disrupting the proceedings. Lunch will be served when we are done. Ne? Arutwaneng, lunch will be served as you are seated down. Only after we have concluded the session. Because once we start moving, when other people are on the floor, it creates an impression of, there are other things that we prioritize. Let's conclude and then we adjourn for lunch. Can we agree? Please. Yeah. Proceed, my brother.
Firstly, thank you for the presentation of small businesses in terms of finances. But again, I will say to you who are sent to tell us this good news, it's like a Bible story. You have been telling us from 1994 about the opportunities we small black people we get. But practically, when we come to your offices, we don't get the opportunities you are telling us about today. So my question is, coming with a solution to say, you government offices have people on the ground. Have people on the ground whom you are going to interact with and get the exact problems of the people. Because you are doing things at parliament level alone there without having the information to say what is it that we want, what is it that we need. Then when you are done drafting those things, you come to us, you influence us to agree on those things. Can you please change the way you are doing things? Because even right now, you are telling us about fundings that you know for yourselves that when we come to your offices, we don't get them. So tell us that is this our country as South Africans or the country of the world? We need to know now. It's 30 years down the line, we've been told one thing. You don't change. You are telling us how you have matched those departments, but you didn't come to the people and research what are the real problems of the people. You approve many good things. What about location revitalization of spaza shops? It was approved during Mpeki's time. When was that? When is now? So please, you are our own people. Don't kill us. You are killing us now. Whether you are white, whether you are black, whether you are purple, you are killing us. Because the previous regime before 94, it didn't assist us on the ground. We just know them to say, oh no, black people don't know nothing. What is it that you are doing to show that this country we must enjoy all of us, not you alone? Let it not be a liberal country where the rich becomes richer, the poor becomes poorer. No, guys, thank you. But have people on the ground, please. Come to us on the ground. This is our country.
Thank you very much. Ogare setse kwa bofelo akere. Ke ma was there an 8? 8? We're done. Okay. If we're done this side, let's go to the right. Number 1. Number 1. Kelona. Daddy. Oh yeah. Mic, ka speed, yeah.
Ke a leboha. Ha ke dumedise hape, lebitso ke Jabulani Hamkhonza. Ke tswa ke le Tsakane Hot 83, member ya Buhle ba Madoda Men's Forum. Engifuna ukuphakamisa la, siyayizwa ilokhu njana ibill ngale ndlela ekhuluma ngakhona, ikakhulukazi kuma unfair practices kwama business. Se ke batlang ho sehlayisa in terms of taba tsa di insurance. O joina insurance wa patala every month. Mara ga o tlhagelwa ke kotsi, instead of re tshwantse re ba o thuse, tshwantse ba o batle access fee. E le gore ntse o patala every month, o patale lang, gante ga ba tshwantse re ba o thuse, tshwantse o patale gape. Because immediately tla tlhagelwa ke kotsi, tshwantse ke lo reporta kapa ke lo ke isa sello sa ka ba nthuse. Engwe hape ke batlang ho ihlahisa hape ko tabeng tsa di bank policies. Le yona ntse re bana le bothata, if mohlomong o patala policy ko bank, immediately ha o fela ke mosebetsi, o na le insurance ba re ne o patala, ba o bolela ka 3 months fela, mara after 3 months tshwantse o ipone. But o na le ntho e ba re ke surrender. Rona setjhaba se setsho ba re bolelle ka ntho tse, ba re ruti hore if mohlomong o patala policy, or ska lose or mohlomong at least o thole something nyana. A ba bolele ka taba ya surrender, instead of ba tlo bolela hore tshwantse o zame hore o patale that policy. So ha bo botlolehile e tlo lapsa and tšhelete ya hao ya shwella. Ganti no na le tsela hore mohlomong o tla thola bonyanyane bo ka no ka bothola ko policy ya hao. Ke batla ho tla ko tabeng ya di LED. Le boletse ka taba tsa bo di sida le ka fela tse fundang. But LED ha le ya bua ka yona e supportang di local businesses ka non-fundable ya uthusa. Ntate Letswalo ke batla ho buela ke na le ntho e ke hlola ke lla ka yona always e ke ihlahisang hore le a etsa na follow up ha re tloa mo ka ne ra ngwadisa di register re ngwadisa re qeta ho bolela le nke di details tsa rona hape. Hona le issue sa le ke tse ke iphamisa always ya lungile mtshali ya ko Eguruleni mo sala tlhamang teng di cooperatives da fundiwa di cooperatives tsa teng, but ha isale di fundiwa sanke di phito di nkela tlhoko tsene di sebetsa le di gatellwa hore di iwe di ska se da sebetsa. So ke batla tsebe hore if re kenya ditletlebo tsa rona mo di fella mo ka paletsa bjang ka bana ha isale sa totally contact one route hore ha isale ke kenya ditletlebo at least follow up iteng kapa ke thole contact hore re ha o fa ka sello sa hao. Ntate o phamise taba mo ya di funding hore thola hore cooperative e one kapa business e one se fundiwa hangata ngata intse e phita. So normally ntho e etswa ke mo thola hore ke chairperson ko cooperative chairperson e one ke secretary ke ntho tse kaofela o iketsetsa ntho tse hore a thole funding ka malekama ka bane wa una le ditselanyana mara di cooperative tse hlopehang tse hlolehang o iketsetsa dintho di si thole moetla o hore di fundiwe. Mara ba legit ho bi more ba fundiwe ba sing legit, it's very easy hore ba fundiwe re tsebe hore mohlomong na le ditselanyana tsa o kenye hore thole kgolo o ja kapa bjang. Ke a leboha.
No ke lebohile. Ya re go number 2. Number 2 emisa letso o boniwa ke. Ka ra o feta o sa itlhahisa.
Dumela. Nna ka lebitso ke Mananki Mkhwanazi, ke tswa ke le mo Valley plekeng e ba ibitsang ka hore ke Bophelong. Ke tswa ke le member ya Haituke ka se economy ko Bophelong. Potso ya ka ke nana ho lona mo hore na ho tlo etsahalang ka rona batho ba seng ba applyile for SIDA le yona gap. Di application tsa rona di tlo nkuwa di iswe mo le reng ban ke utlwa le bua ka hore le batla ho etsa ntho e one. Yes, ke a dumela e tlo go thusa haholo because ne re patala tšhelete ngata transport, you go this side and you go this side hore o kgone ho thole thuso. So ka ntho eo ke batla go tseba di applications tsa rona tse seng re applyile ka tsona ha se le etsa ntho e one le combine together le tlo di nka na di applications tseo tsa rona ne le tswele pele ka tsona. Engwe hape ke na rona re le batho ba Bophelong ko ka se economy re manage ho ntsha makula kaofela a neng a gana di tuck shop ka hara kasi ya rona without any violence, without anything. Bothata ba rona ke bona Now re nkile ka se economy e kgutletse ho rona, like we said re ka se economy. Re shota ka di funding. Re kokota kae? Mo re kokotang teng menyako ha e bulehe. But you can find out hore batho ba ile reng bona ha bana di right documents tsa hore ba kokote, ke bona ba tholang thuso. Tjhelete tse di tswa ka leeme, le ha o ya gap wena ha o fitla ba o sheba mahlong ba o bolella hore no ha rena tjhelete. But to come to a surprise hore motho a tlang ka morao a batla ho jwetsa o bontshe SMS, nna ke thotse funding. Hantle funding ya government e tholwa ke motho ya entseng jwang. We manage ho re etse di business plan, re kgonne ho re etse di ICP, ntho e nngwe le nngwe e batlahalang re entse di health certificate, re entse ntho e nngwe le nngwe, but government ya rona ya re fail. And one thing kore rona di South Africans ke bona linkile sethunya le re beile sona molaleng, rona we must comply, but these people ba tswang kantle they don't comply. Le re batla ntho e nngwe le nngwe, document e nngwe le engwe. So we as South Africans re tlameile re suffereye ho fitlela neneng. Hona jwale ha ke nka mkhukhu ke rekisa dijo, ke na le shop, ke beha mkhukhu mo le a fitla di bylaws le di ya mkhukhu wa ka, mara matswantle a beile mekhukhu strata le strata ha le re next why le re sotla ka lebo.
All right, are go number 3. Let's take number 3.
Good day, everyone.
Number 3 go mofe. Bua mama. O tla ntate, tla ka mo mora wa mme. Re tlhombe bo mme.
Dumelang ke Louisa Lesele mo Zithobeng. Nna ke na le di questions tse 2. Ke nyako itse hore if that ombudsman setse e entswe, and then ke it tlo tsa di dispute tsa how far back, because as we speak now rena di small businesses we are taken for granted and we've been misused and not paid. So it tlo tsa nako e kanang kang, it tlo lebella morago nako e kanang kang na. And then the second question ke if ele hore ke na le dispute e leng hore e settletswe ke court, but due to some other reasons the other small business or the other department a e khone ho mpatala, will that be allowed more the new ombudsman ena? Thank you.
Whether it applies retrospectively.
Okay, I say good medicine. Kalibito, my name is Tumumweketse from Zakane 34. I'm standing here in front of the naked eye on behalf of my daughter organization, my daughter organization. Can I just a simple question? Since we encourage or we should register our companies. Since we register real company, those people are talking about fund and since they banally certificate already kapa since and bato register. Al talking about fund kapa talking about subsidize. Al talking happy over isadi koso nyana ya or workshop nyana so kiona putso ya kayo.
Or le wheeler. Are go number 5. Number 5. On the dollar musuvinyedit.
Tobela.
Ndate ke number man.
5.
5. Wonderful.
Tobela. Yeah. Nagina William Kananisa. Ke tla Islay. Ke na chairperson about bazekisa Islay. So problem ke na le yona ke ya yona ya funding. Because taba ya funding so ntse le lokise thata because ona le ba bang ba batlang finding zi ba ikla kae. A rona stock go rekisa go teng. Nyaka finding is na stock go na mali kamela. Ki kono o itse next na stock go ke ya ko kae. So taba ya funding ke utlwile e tswile thata mo. E serious, e le go itse gore e bereka bjang. And ke mang qualifier. Please ke kopa taba le lokise ya funding because re nyaka taba ya funding ko nyaka tšhelete ya go stocka. Sa bobedi, ka somebody se tsa boletse mo a re o bon sa o ka re molao o hatella rena ba South Africans.
Wa itse re batla o etseng Daddy? Ha o re ne ke apply tse funding because re batlo investigate some of these things. Le re empowering ka information. If no apply tse funding somewhere and you were not assisted, ke ratile the way Meole na bua ka teng. O fana ka tlhaloso e tlaleletseng. So if you had applied for funding somewhere, there was no response. Re batlo itse gore ke ko kae. Which year, which month, who did you interact with? I think it's also going to assist us as members of the provincial legislature to follow through on why is it that you have not been able to be assisted.
Okay. Nona le ba bang ba sa le ba kry funding. A tse ba ikrile ko kae batho bana. A ba se botse, ba kry le funding ba botsa ba kry le 15,000, 10,000. Na zibile I was one of them when ba ba ke krile. Ke sa ikire. So that's why ke botisa hore ho na le mo batho ba o rekisa small business ba ka funding at e nothing aware ka yona na. Ke yona taba mathomo tsa ke le ke ya ga lenya ke sisa le tlhalosetso taba ya funding mo small business e bereka bjang. So mota ona taba e nngwe hape ya bolela o ka re molao hatela rena batho ba ntsho ba South Africa. Ke bolela ka taba ya open fire. Re ina go ba ka go te we need open fire how re ya peye. Re kono o serve customers. But metro ya tla ya tshwenya e ke molao wa South Africa ba nyeke open fire. Ma open fire re makala hore go high mus ho na le maso everything ya bereka. Why is a bereki ge rena sentse re we must feed our family. Lo na ke molao o lo hatella rena South Africans. As it open fire yes because you need 90% unyaka mollo, you need fire. But the you can't make fire, then you not trying to high over like it. Please, Leona, I see that.
All right, thank you very much. Arego number 6. Neke kopa yona that thing yare. If you say neke apply ile, if you can assist us with the detail, or especially in the agencies that you are under Gauteng, again, because we are the ones who play oversight over them. If there's any one of you who says neke apply ile in this institution, on such a date, I've not received any feedback, you also empower us to call them, to subpoena them, or here's a list of people who applied. We need a response as to why you have not given them feedback or why you have not been able to assist. So that we can Arego number 6.
So well, again I'm making Tladi from Barekishi Forum, Ward 84. Ke eme mo ke tlo kgopela government ya rena gore nke e re hlokomele jwalo ka bana ba yona e be re hlokomele jwalo ka ge rena re le government ya rena self gobane rena ma South African ka nnete ga re benefite selo ka gare ga government batho ba ba benefitang ke ma foreign street to street ke di foreigners vendors rena ge re santse re rekiše re nyakiwa di 1 2 3 tše e leng gore re rekedišana le tsona bošego le mosegare mara ga re benefite selo gana jwalo ba kgopela gore re bane le di-permit tše re di patelang ngwago mongwe le o mongwe mara mo re berekelang gona go dula go kweša bohloko ga re na le even le space sa go beya storage mo e leng gore re bolela gore re berekile mengwaga e ka fetago 20 to 30 years re godiša bana fela rena ke dipula mo strateng rena bapatedi ba tax rena re boutelago yona naga ya rena rena re thekgilego molao o rulang ka mogare ga naga e mara rena ga re anye selo ka gare go government ya rena ke ma-foreigners fela ao e leng gore a bana le ditokelo tše dintšhi tša go feta tša rena na rena ga botse re bomang go ne le motswadi ya ka belegang bana ka gare ga lapa a fetša a rata bana ba mosadi o mongwe ka next door ba gage a ba raga ka lotu dirang se seng ke a leboga.
All right, I go number 7. I think the last hand, number 7. Yeah, una number 7. Or Ferit. All right, thank you very much. I get a rala Mexican wave. Ke tlalositse go mathomo wa kere. Ore re le fa monyetla ba ba tlo bua ba emise matso so ke tshaba re nka tsa o mo 1. 10 more hands might also raise again. So my brother had luck again. Re tla bua le wena on the sides. I mean, we are still able to converse about these issues on the side. So thank you very much. But what we are going to do, maybe we must we must leave a piece of paper. Several of you stated, oh my sister, no response. Again, I'm about to deal with the situation say, with a supposition. I'm about to deal with the need. Or again, go gap. Ki feel ke form ke mo get. Ke apply maybe ka 2019, no response. So that re kgone ba bitsa batho bore batho ki ba apply why did you not respond? Agere reformalize go re nna ke batla reformalize because ha re ka e bua re ne ke apply and then our thusi government a rona ya re kwalla we need to point out agere we need to point out nna ke chairperson na committee nngwe ba reng ke petitions ha o nkwalletse ke na le matla o samona le premier ke kono subpoena le premier mayor we can subpoena everybody to appear to account agere so re batla le re thusa ka yona that thing re tlo etsa buka mole because we will not obviously be able to take all the hands. Those of you who say I own a company, I applied on this day, on such a day, and then we make a commitment or we'll follow through. Thank you very much. I'm handing over back to the chair.
Thank you, Member Letswalo. Babuti by the earpiece. Killing Tose. Hello, Papa. How can you say one guy one puts or why Lincoln Tozalo Narisokwali meeting? Does it mean that Abasabato Rutwa? But to Baba Kavako Bronkhorstspruit, Batwanko Gauteng Gaufel. I write into Letsangwanako High. Because they still need to listen. So you are taking away the gadgets before the meeting ends. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Some belief. How? How's the Apollo? Okay. 2 seconds, give clarity where you can. But we've picked up the issues, critical issues about funding. That has probably even nothing to do with the amendments, but a process, honorable members, where our people are saying we've made applications, we are not giving funding, we're picking up the foreign tendencies, we're picking up the lack of bylaw enforcement. We did not even check in the morning if there are councillors here. You know, because bylaw enforcement is done by municipalities, and it is an important part in making sure that all of us are regulated properly. Risk regulate you a skin, or skin color, or language. If Barretlogo the pavementing, all of us must move away from pavements. Not or a Wutamelo move at city, Mara Francisca Aska move. That is incorrect. We will note and raise those issues through the normal legislature processes with the municipalities. Lack of funding, we picked up the issues of the JEP, Libisa JEP, Rona Libisa GEP. So we picked up those issues as well. I was saying to honorable members that we probably need to have a session with JEP so that they explain to us what is the challenge, because this is not the first time that I'm picking up complaints. about GEPA or JEP. You know, when people were saying, we are happy you are appointed as the chair, they raised the funding model JEP as one of the challenges that we need to address. So we've had you, we will make follow-ups on your behalf. Where we can come back to you, we will indeed come back to you, but we'll make sure that we communicate either way so that you know we have raised some of your issues. Before le rinkela tsona di mic tse le rinkela ntho tsa ho utlwa mos. So kopa le mo fe a arabe Mashao guy, if they no batla ho add, if not then he doesn't have to add. Thank you very much. Quickly Ngwanaka, I don't do the presentation again. Respond, give clarity.
Okay.
Where you need to, not the presentation. So brief.
Okay.
Thank you.
I've realized that most of the comments from the floor give the complaints regarding funding. I'll take that up with the department because SIFA is our entity, but I cannot speak on behalf of SIFA. I'll give it to the powers that be so that it can be addressed. Secondly, the issue of the Office of Ombudsman. There's one lady, she was asking about the retrospective application of the Office of the Ombudsman. Hangata mama, ha molao o itla, ha re etsa molao o motjha, we cannot take the cases tsa kgale radi adjudicator on the new legislation because at the time when the matter arose, ne re sena molao o. So ha Officer Ombudsman e qala ho sebetsa re tlo nka di case tse qalang le yona ho tswela pele. Another thorny issue, the issue of foreigners having more rights more than South Africans. I'll take it up with the powers that be so that our government must remedy the situation. Kinana, unless there's something.
Ke nna chairperson ya meeting. Ra leboha dula fatshe ngwana ko hero rata ka lerato la love. Thank you very much. Please remember, the two bills are open for your submission, comment, up until the 20th of February. Next week, you can make your submissions on the two bills that we dealt with today.
Chair.
Yes, Member Sir.
Yeah, wait, through you with the greatest of respect. My sister, that response, I know we're trying to manage time. Ne? We're trying to manage time. Maro must not take too much of a short corner. There are serious issues raised. For instance, they do go morao. Which is the question, or where do I go? Which is a genuine question. Where do I go when I want to access funding? And I really thought maybe we might have gone at length to sort of point out which agencies do we have in Gauteng. Again, and my sister Wago Vale Lena says, we are frustrated. We have been knocking, we are not succeeding. Who can we commit to interact with her to try to unlock opportunities that are there? Again, Melena Wile Mole wa Lotsa Valentine. Again, Rayman, Retuse. So my anxiety, Chair, is that a quick response might not necessarily build confidence. And I thought, in respect of the questions that he would say, because we have noted them, let's try to respond. Because a helicopter response misses a range of other things. Of course, other questions are more, in fact, other inputs are more of comments. We can absorb them and see how best they internally. We also exert pressure on the executive, on government, to really unlock. Again, so I thought maybe let's do that. And then, Chair, maybe lastly, is that we must also encourage our people. There are many platforms, there are seminars, there are symposiums, there are invitations to different conferences in our province. Again, and many of those are free, are for free, where you can express your views so that you are responded to immediately. Somebody was asking about the issue about township revitalization, which was only passed last year. So it was a legislation only passed last year, not during Thabo Mbeki's term. And there's a number of commitments which are made there. If at all possible, at any stage, for government to give an update, we would want to provide you with that information. But we may need to be structured. Again. So I really thought for now, let's really try, although in a summative fashion, to try to respond to the individual. Why is it not going to meeting? About how would this a question? You are responded to direct. Is that not a question now? It's obscured. Yeah, so I thought, Chair, through your leadership, summary is not too summarized.
Okay, thank you very much. Dear Pello, if you could add more meat to your bones. Economic development, Dibagay. Where is economic development? What's Amaili? Masha, respond to some of the issues, including the GEP problems. Where do we go when we have challenges? Where to access funding? But I refer to your Polo Bill, then after her you'll follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think we've got Small Enterprise Finance Agency, which is SIFA. It is our entity, and I explained to say, because I'm not here to speak on behalf of SIFA, I don't have the mandate, but for financing.
Nana, wrong answer. Where do we find SIFA? Corner what? The street in this city. That's all we want. If there's a phone number, this is a telephone number, 011,
Okay, that I can give, give the address.
Yes.
Yes, but I just wanted to explain that.
Fanak address. Where about go baking? Masha?
Thank you, Chair. I think as honorable members are saying, in Gauteng, we in the last year we passed the Township Act, right? And that legislation is currently being implemented. So as part of that implementation of the Act, what government then resolved to do is that, because we also have, as you were noting yourself, right? Because we also have inefficiencies in some of the areas in government, we will go out into the market, identify partners that we can partner with, and so that we can actually implement this thing properly. So on the issue of the spaza shop, right? We have established a fund specifically, exclusively for township-based people who are in retail. So if you go to, for example, Google now and type Kasim Noto, it will take you to the website where you can actually apply for funding. Kasim Noto. Kasim Noto. It will take you to a web page, and that web page is quite simple. You are looking for funding, fill your details, apply, and we'll come back to you. And also, as I'm responding, I'll give you the number that is on the side, right? So, and one of the reasons why we did that is so that we create multiple opportunities, not only at GP, multiple opportunities where people can actually access funding support.
Kasi umnotha ina office.
In a office, all over, Kangala. We're working with Mitswedi Business Forum, right? So we're using their offices. So anyone who wants to apply and they're local, they can go to the offices and actually apply. So on the site, it lists all the offices in the different regions. In the West End, we're working Kanakeng. Is it Kekeka or what? I can't remember the name. In the West End. In the Kataras area, we're working with the Kataras Business Forum and all of that. So please, if you, and on the side, maybe just to give them a number, Chair. We've got few numbers there. One is, the office number is 0800 123 475. That's the contact, right? There's also a WhatsApp line. If you want to send a WhatsApp and inquire, it's 083 413 7400. But the simplest way of doing it, if you just type in that Kasim Noto, it will take you to that page, and all that information is there, and they can be able to assist you. And that is just on retail, right? There are a lot of other programs that we are implementing as well, that as the honorable member was saying, we go out on roadshows, even today, as we speak now, our MEC was in Gangala launching 2 bakeries, right? So we go out, please also, if you can, follow us on our Facebook page, because a lot of our projects, we target young people, of course, we communicate a lot via social media as well. So that you are empowered, as honorable member was saying, a lot of this information is available on our social media platforms, on how you can access whatever you access, the programs that we are implementing as well. I thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Orifa phone number address, sisters.
I'm giving the address, the physical address, and the phone number.
Orifa address or phone number. If Orifa address or phone number, if you have issues that you want to raise, you'll raise us with us. Meeting. Now it's addresses of where do we get help. Phone numbers of where do we get help.
So the address for SIFA offices, the head office, is number 11. Bales Bridge Office, Bales BYLS, Bridge Office Park, corner Olive and Holt Bush Street and Jean Avenue, Highfield Centurion. Their number 012 748 9600. The email address, applications@sifa.org.za.
Thank you. Rudely again, repeat. Again, na chairman ya meeting. So I don't know who go chairman. Or chairman around pila. Repeat that, sisters.
Okay. The physical address, number 11, Bells Bridge Office Park, corner Olive and Holt Bush Street and Jean Avenue, Highfield Centurion. Number 012 748 9600. Email address, applications@sifa.org.za. Thank you.
Thank you. Retweet again. Thanks, Nan. Thank you so much. Retweet again. Kia sifa e. Kasim noto. Buisetsang bana ba ko hainele beile mo. A qaleng ka Kasim noto. You Google Kasim noto. Again. Ki WhatsApp number. Asi phone number. And this guy phone la number e le batla ntho tse leng hore di dule ka Kasim noto. Ha ona bo hi, how are you mo? Hello, hi, Omo. You just send information because you want to be empowered on how to get funding for your business. You Google as well, Kasim Noto. On that page, ho thwa le tla fumana hore di office tse leng haufinyana le lona di hokae. Le hona moo, I guess you can put in Kasim Noto office in Ekurhuleni. Then the person that's responsible for the phone number will be able to assist you only. So can we repeat that? Let me thank everybody that came. Thank the Hansard people at the back. Lalinkile in total meeting waka. Rally Leboga that you assisted us in hearing the meeting. Thanks to the sound engineers. I can't the sound engineers, but serious, very important. The sound engineers for making it possible for us to run our meeting. Honorable members, thank you very much. I see it's full house on my first chairing of the meeting. Thank you very much. I appreciate the respect. My comrades, my leaders, thank you very much. And the most important people, our communities. Rutlwile ditletlebo ra leboga. Le thupere le sapang ka yona ya hore re le fa di-document mo, re a e utlwa. Empa re leboga tlhompho le tlotlo tseo le re fileng tsona hore ha re le bitsa le tlile re leboga go menagane. My officials, thank you very much for coming through. We need such team players so that when we talk to people, we give them factual issues. My people that are capturing us with the beautiful photos and the beautiful videos, thank you very much as well, guys. Our meeting stands adjourned. I'm told there is lunch. I'm not sure who's responsible for managing the lunch. Okay, Honorable Lutalo, Aroban Ributika Chapelo, Okopa Rekwale Chapelo happy. But I need direction on the lunch, guys. Who's responsible for the lunch? Victoria, what do we do? Do we sit, you come, you bring, or what? If I'm Victoria, Mikey Buffett. Oh, I heard that there are priests here. So can we give the priest a voice so that the prayer is prayed for real, ne? Not a prayer in silence. So re kopa baruti ba rapele ba re kopele tsela modimo tsamaile le rona di tseleng tse re di kenang.
Amen. Ngicela sonke sivala amehlo sibusise lo msebenzi. Baba wethu ingcwele mnini mandla wonke sadla sembethiso nomhlaba. Baba siyabonga Nkosi yaphakathe ukuthi uhambe nathi kwaze kwabala. Naba abantwana bakho Nkosi yaphakathe manje bayaphuma ngamunye ngamunye baye emakhaya ahlukene mesiyonqwele. Ela wena izwe elikhulu lasezulwini Baba bese uthumela umlilo wakho wenkasimulo yasezulwini Baba olungileyo. Baba siyawugibela izinqola ezahlukahlukene mesiyalo namandla. Ela kube wena Nkosi oyawubamba amasondo uNkulunkulu wethu oyinqwele usidrive siyofika emakhaya ahlukahlukene. Esiyo ingcwele sicela kuba Nkosi yaphakathe konke okulethwe ngaphambi kwakobusoba abantwana bakho Mesiya. Wena ke Nkosi yezulu uthumela inglosi Baba bese zenza konke kwamukeleke Jehova. Ngokuba wena Nkosi yaphakathe ushilo izwini lakho wathi masethembela kuwe Nkosi yaphakathe nathi uyawuhlala usithethelela. Sithethelele ke manje ngamunye ngamunye Nkosi yokulunga sisaza uphuma kule ndawo usihole egameni elihle likamfeli wethu Jesu Kristu owasincobela ukuphila wasincobela ukufa sinikeza ukuphila kuzobe phakade. Amen.
Siyabonga baba. Kopa le dule mfatshe so that you address the lunch issues. Remember, you are submitting your submissions by the 20th to please, your email where you're submitting the comments on the two bills is tskosana@gpl.gov.za. tskosana@gpl.gov.za. That is why we're submitting our comments. Thank you very much. Sorry, I go lunching Victoria. Is that lunch? Or you want to talk to it? Okay, thank you very much. Sa itebogela setlogolo sa Batlakole.
Dumelang. Le kae? Ke ne ke kopa